What's up, San Diego?
San Diego, turn it up. From the dugout to the sidelines, from the front office to the fan in the stands, this is where San Diego sports comes to be heard.
College athletics is the gift that keeps on giving. This is why I love this stuff.
He's not just talking about the game, he's driving the conversation, breaking it down, calling it out, and saying what everyone else won't.
They start licking their chops, man, when they hear like, oh, look at all these guys the Padres could potentially trade.
This is the voice San Diego sports trusts on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
We're your favorite show's favorite show.
This is the Braden Surprenant Show.
Think about the children, the family show.
Now, here's Braden Surprenant.
What's up, San Diego? And a happy Monday to everybody out there in America's finest city. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, live and local each and every day from 10 to 2 on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. It's good to be with all of you today on a Victory Monday. Victory Monday today. Padres get a 3-game sweep of the Minnesota Twins, and Fernando Tatis Jr. goes off the entire weekend. So much so, I got to mention this to start the show because I know it's going to make Woods squirm. So much so, the Minnesota Twins broadcasters wish the best of luck to the Pittsburgh Pirates this week. I don't know if that's going to curse the Padres or not. Woods was freaking out about it on the morning show today. I'm with Ben and with Paul. If you got, over the course of history for the Padres and me being a lifelong San Diegan, there's not a lot of times you get some serious credit. Like, good luck to the next team coming in here because this team is very hard to beat. You don't get that a lot from a lot of broadcasters from other teams. It was nice to hear. It was nice to hear. And you know what? The Padres are playing that level of baseball right now. They're on a little bit of a tear, and they have found themselves now 2 games above the Diamondbacks for the final wild card spot in the National League wild card. Now, I think when you look at the standings, and you take a look at the Padres have won 7 out of the last 10. They've won 3 in a row. What are they? 21-7 their last 28 games. They've finally gotten to 60 losses, so we could start counting the crucial 42 with Frank. But they're 11-0 in their crucial 42. They haven't lost yet in our little metric of that. They finally got a positive run differential. They're plus 16. They're now 40-20 and 40-26 at Petco Park. They need to improve their road record just a little bit. But as I looked at the standings yesterday after the Padres win, and that was a big win yesterday, and I thought Saturday's win was even more impressive just because it seemed very bleak there early. It seemed like, here come the inconsistent Padres having a really good night on Friday and then laying an egg on Saturday. We'll break down every portion of these games coming up later on. But yesterday, again, another Fernando Tatis Jr. show. Got to see multiple home runs. I had a buddy ask me about a month and a half ago, do you think Fernando's going to get to 20 home runs? I was like, I don't know. It might be a little close. Now I definitely think he's going to get to 20 home runs. He might get to 25 home runs. Which is interesting coming from, a fan base and ourselves going like, oh, man, has Fernando lost his power? Is Fernando still the guy he used to be? Is he the guy that the Padres gave the big contract to? I think he's that guy. When the Padres handed out that big contract to Fernando, he's going to be an MVP caliber player. And he is showing himself, she is showing that off right now in the second half of the season. And he's a big reason why this team is going in the direction that they are going. But anyway, I was looking at the standings yesterday. The Padres swept the Twins. For the Twins' sake, it didn't do that much damage. They're only 2 games out of a wild card spot because everybody just keeps flip-flopping around in the American League, and nobody with a winning nobody wants to get a winning record to get the final wild card spot in the American League. But as for the Padres, the Phillies have won 9 straight games, and people were, I saw some people upset about the fact that it's like, wow, the Padres are going to go on this great run and still get stuck with the 6th seed. I don't think that's necessarily true. It just might not be the Phillies you're trying to catch. You've made up some ground on the Cubs. The Cubs have not played as great of baseball as of late. They had a big win yesterday against Seattle, but they lost a couple of games in Seattle. They have been a little bit on the losing side now. They've won 4 out of the last 10, and now only 4 games in front of the Padres. So the Padres, despite not making up any ground on Philly, they're kind of climbing with Philly right now in the standings. So Chicago potentially might be in play. Here's the other thing. I think a lot of people just assume that the Phillies are going to be the wild card and the Braves are going to be the division winner. Does anybody know how many games back the Phillies are from Atlanta? That's down to 3. And I thought when Milwaukee was here and the way they were playing and the Padres sweeping the Brewers, I thought the Cubs had a good chance to catch Milwaukee. But right now they're 6 games back of Milwaukee. But the Phillies are 3 games back of Atlanta. And I think it potentially sets up. Now, I think this might be wishful thinking. And you don't want to put the cart before the horse. But there is a situation that is very possible that the Padres could, in fact, get the 5 seed. And they could theoretically pass Atlanta in the process because Atlanta is only a couple of games in front of Philly. I mean, the Padres are within 5 games of Atlanta and 4 games of Chicago, where Atlanta's the 6, the Padres are the 5, the Cubs are the 4, the Phillies are the 3. And who knows what happens with the Dodgers or the Brewers. But you could potentially have a run in the playoffs in which you beat the 3 teams that knocked you out of the playoffs like the last 3 seasons. Like, you could theoretically, and this is a pipe train. We still got a lot more games to go. You could go back and try to get revenge on the Cubs in Chicago in the first round of the playoffs. And then you could potentially play the Dodgers in the divisional round, which you've usually done. And then you could potentially play the Phillies in the championship series on your way to play in the World Series. And who knows, maybe the Yankees make a run. And then you have all the teams that have knocked you out of the playoffs right there for the taking. That's more just wishful thinking. But I still think it's cool nonetheless. Today is a big day as well because today is the press conference for the new ownership group here in San Diego. José E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones will meet with the media and be introduced for the first time, real first time, as now being official owners of the San Diego Padres. We are going to carry that press conference live at 1 o'clock, commercial free. We will have our guy Sammy Lev down there, and we'll see if he is able to track anybody down that he might be able to interview down at Petco Park. It's a big day for this organization, obviously, as they have now passed the baton from the Seidler family ownership group to this new era of Padres baseball. And I think the big reason of why this should be a great day, because I think it's 2 things. I think it's a great day because the Seidler family, starting with Peter, took this team from the ashes and put them in a conversation where they are a contender every single year in Major League Baseball. Something that, as Padres fans for the last, some of you more than 60 years, never thought was ever possible. I mean, we're talking about an organization before the Seidlers took over that made the playoffs 5 times in 60 seasons. 5 times. That's like barely once a decade. And since they have made the playoffs now twice in a row, 3 out of the last 4 years, they're trying to go for the first time ever in franchise history to make the playoffs 3 years in a row. They have had a jam-packed Petco Park now consistently since, relatively 2020. I would imagine 2020. If 2020 was a full season, you probably would have had a lot of fans in the stands for this Padres team. But they have really taken a hold of being the one team in San Diego and being the forefront of San Diego sports fans. I mean, to a point where we could talk about the Padres every single day during the entire calendar year. That doesn't happen in any other market. Every other market for baseball has a major professional team, whether it be the NBA, the NHL, or the NFL, that they have to compete with. And here in San Diego, The Padres have turned this town into a baseball town, which it wasn't for a long time. And to me, winning baseball and consistent baseball is making the playoffs as many times as you can. Making the playoffs 3 of the last 4 years is consistent baseball. Potentially making it 3 years in a row is consistent baseball. Once you get to the playoffs, it's kind of a crapshoot. But what this organization did, what this now previous ownership did to get the Padres to where they are, I think needs to be not only addressed, but celebrated. Because Peter Seidler took what was an organization that was a rudderless ship, and he turned it into a team that has superstars, a team that fills the house every single night. He turned it into a place to be in San Diego, whether you're a sports fan or not. And he has made this a perennial winner in terms of getting them a chance to go to the playoffs every single year. That is exciting. The next part is this new era of Padres baseball, and what the Seidler family did in making this team so valuable brought in some people now that want to own their own team, that want to win, that have had a lot of success in their life, that have had experience now owning other professional franchises. And what the Seidler family did in this team and what you guys did as fans made this a hot commodity for somebody to come in and buy it and then take it to the next level. And that's what's exciting about today. You're going to see José E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones collectively own this team with their new ownership group. And now some of the Seidler family is going to be part of this ownership group. Some of the previous owners in the last regime are going to stay on with this ownership group. And now they are going to try to take that next step for this team. And I think today is an exciting day. And I'm excited to hear what both Jose and Kwanza have to say about being in San Diego. I'm excited they want to be part of our community. I'm excited that they want to bring their philanthropy here. I'm excited that they want to make San Diego home because of what we have made with this ball club, what the Seidler family did, what the players have done, but more importantly, what you fans have done in supporting this organization and making it a place to be every single night during the summer and hopefully into October. So we're going to have the press conference for you coming up at 1:00. We do want to hear from you guys today about your excitement level. What do you want the ownership group to do now that they're in charge? We do want to get your phone calls on that. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We've had a lot of experienced people, I should say, that have watched this organization for a long time continue to say this is the best time to be a Padres fan, and it's kind of hard to disagree with that. Look, I know they haven't won a division. I know they've only made wild cards. I know they've made playoff pushes, but they haven't necessarily made it to the World Series. I think that's still to come on the horizon. I still think you got a chance this year, but from what the Padres organization was to what they are now, that's a big showing from the Seidler family, and now let's see what the new ownership group can do to take him to the next level. But this weekend, exciting baseball. The second half, exciting baseball. And Frank, this is a Padres team that is playing the level of baseball you need at the right time. And I kind of agree with the Twins broadcasters. This is going to be a hard team to beat if they can continue this run that they're on and if they can keep going off Fernando Tatis Jr.
8-1 in the last 2 homestands. That's really all you need to say. You've lost the opener against Houston. You swept who was the next team that came in? Milwaukee, first place team, best team in baseball. Then you go out and you sweep the Minnesota Twins. So good luck to the Pittsburgh Pirates. You're catching Paul Skeens tomorrow night as well. He has not been pitching well at all. This is a white hot San Diego Padres team right now, and I don't envy anyone that has to play this team right now with the momentum it's got.
Now they still got a lot of baseball left, and they're not clinched in a playoff spot yet. They have a 2-game lead on Arizona. Arizona is they have their own problems right now with obviously dealing with Ketel Marte and all of that, and we'll get to that later on in the show today. But this is a good spot to be if you're the Padres. And Frank, I mentioned it earlier. Just looking at the standings, I think everybody was so laser focused on Philly. It's not out of the realm of possibilities of Philly passes they can't pass Atlanta. I mean, they're 3 games back behind Atlanta, and you almost want Philly to catch Atlanta so you don't have to worry about tie-breaking scenarios with wild card teams, because you got the tie-breaking scenarios on the Atlanta Braves. And I think there's a lot of movement left in this playoff race. The good news, though, is you're starting to distance yourself from Arizona by 2, and you're really distancing yourself from the pack. I mean, Pittsburgh is 8.5 games behind the Padres in the wild card standing. St. Louis, 5.5. Miami, 4 games back. There's a lot of teams that are getting crossed off the list right now in terms of competition for the National League wild card.
Yeah, and you do go on the road. You face a couple of good teams. You face Tampa Bay to lead off the next road trip, and then you come home next homestand. You lead off with the Yankees. So you do have some solid competition in there. However, what you have coming up here for pretty much the remainder of this season are teams that you should be beating up on, teams that you should be able to take care of business against. And for the Phillies being where they are, they're going to come back down to earth. It's a 9-game winning streak. That's more of a fluke than anything, as we've seen in baseball, especially this year. Look at the Cubs. I would not be surprised at all if this Padre team continues to move up. And that's exactly what you needed to do with this homestand, was to create distance between yourselves and the rest of the teams in the wild card. And they are doing that in spades right now.
You got some big series this week too. Mm-hmm. Chicago's in Arizona. The Cubs are taking on the Diamondbacks. That's a net positive for the Padres if they could do damage against Pittsburgh. Other big series to pay attention to that start today. Phillies in Seattle. Seattle had a tough one yesterday, but they did pretty well against Chicago. It's a long travel for the Phillies, and maybe that will run out playing in Seattle. And then later on, starting up tomorrow, a couple of series during the week to pay attention to. The Red Sox and the Marlins are going at it. I mean, the Marlins are still hanging on for dear life, but as of right now, I really see just 3 teams battling for the 2 spots, and it's really just maybe the Padres in Arizona for the final wild card spot. But now's the time to distance yourself from Arizona and start trying to track down some of the teams in front of you. And you look at, the Phillies trying to catch Atlanta. Atlanta's got the Dodgers this week. That also could be a net positive for the Padres. And, we didn't spend too much time looking at the Cubs schedule in terms of how they finished, but they got some battles they got to deal with. Plus, guess who has to play the Brewers 7 more times? We talked about that with the Brewers broadcasters a couple of weeks ago. They know they got a nasty fight on their hands with the Chicago Cubs, and that hasn't even started yet. So I think right now, the way the schedule plays out for the Padres, they're in a good spot. They still got to play a couple of good teams from the American League. The Yankees and the Rays are coming up. The Rays very shortly here over the weekend, but Padres have a lot of good opportunities to do some damage and really distance themselves from the rest of the pack and start climbing leaderboards in terms of trying to get a better seed in the wild card. So that starts tonight against Pittsburgh. Obviously, we got the big press conference today. We're going to carry that live at 1:00. We're going to check in with Sam Levitt at 12:40. We will carry that press conference commercial free, so you can hear what José E, Feliciano and Kwanza Jones have to say about their new ownership in the San Diego Padres. So we're going to get to that later on. We do want to get your phone calls, though. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. We're off and running here on a Monday. The Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's Urban Sports Station, 97 through the Fan. $10:24 on a Monday. We're broadcasting live for the Bill House Studios. We know how. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. This is the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. I do want to get your phone calls today, 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. What do you think about this team right now? What do you think about the new ownership? They will be introduced today later on at 1 o'clock. We will have that coverage for you here. Live, commercial free. Sam Levitt is down there. We will check in with him in the noon hour. But as we talk about this team this weekend, Frank, a little bit of a scare with Casey Mize. Doesn't sound like it's going to be as bad as initially anticipated. But other than that, I mean, I go back to Saturday. I think, Saturday's game was the big one this weekend because they fell down 5-1. I was up in Orange County. I went and scouted for high school football on Friday, stayed up there for the weekend. Just got back from dinner, and the Padre game, we had an early dinner. The Padre game was on. I saw that they were down 5-1. And, my friend, she was like, "Are you going to put the game on?" I was like, I don't know. Griffin Canning's in right now, and it's 5-1. I don't know how much I'm gonna pay attention to it. Griffin Canning ends up, putting up a 0. And then I go, okay, I'll put it on. We'll see. And then I said, 5-1 for this team, the way that they're playing, they could slowly chip away at it and make something interesting in the 9th inning. If they get a couple of runs here. It was like the 7th inning. And then they get all their runs back. The best, though, is Jake Cronenworth's reaction on that double he hit. As soon as he hits it, he looks, he's like, oh, I got to run. He didn't think that was going to land inside the line. You got a little bit of a beneficial shot right there, the jam shot that works out for the Padres. But I thought that game was the most important of the weekend. Them being able to come back from being down early. We talked about it on Friday. Casey Mize has not had success against the Twins in his career, but the way that the team battled back, worked at bats, contributed, and had a big rally there in the 7th inning. I thought that was the game of the weekend, and I thought that was the showing you can build confidence off of as a fan, knowing this team's for real, and I think they're going to do some damage in the postseason.
Yeah, it's very similar to the Wednesday game against the Brewers, being able to come back after getting one hit for 4 straight innings and going 1, 2, 3 for like 3 or 4 straight innings. That was a game that kind of let you know that the up and down roller coaster that the Padres were at the beginning of the season was over. Then it just gets reaffirmed this weekend against Minnesota. And for Mize, that was a really big scare for Mize because he had been on the IL earlier this season with an adductor strain.
And that's what everybody thought it potentially was.
So you're thinking when he gets pulled early, you're thinking arm injury, not good. This is one of the guys that was supposed to help save this starting rotation, and now he's done with an arm injury. But then the story comes out that he just slipped down the dugout steps, and a sprained ankle isn't great, but that'll heal a lot quicker than an adductor strain.
Right, 100%.
So that, I think, is that's another sign, I think, if you believe in any sort of superstition, that's a sign that the luck for this team is starting to turn. Because if this were May or June, he probably would have been out with that adductor strain. Now it's just a freak accident.
That was Saturday's game. I thought that was the most important. Friday and Sunday's game, as much as like the Padres put up runs, right? 6 runs, they had a 4-run 5th inning on Friday. And then yesterday's game where they, add on late to the point where the Twins broadcaster was like, oh, good luck, Pittsburgh. This team's red hot right now, especially with Fernando. I thought Friday and Sunday's game were about the starting pitching. About guys like Randy Vasquez and Walker Buehler, 2 guys that we've said on the show had the ability to help this team out, right? Mm. I mean, Randy Vasquez, 7 innings, 2 earned runs on 2 hits, 3 strikeouts. Look, he doesn't have a lot of strikeout stuff. He's gotten his ERA down to a 4.19, and Randy Vasquez in his last couple outings looks a lot more like Randy Vasquez at the beginning of the season when you and I said, hey, look, this guy's got the talent to be one of the better pitchers for the Padres. He went through, obviously, a very rough patch in the middle of the season, but Randy Vasquez pitching like this really helps fill out this rotation even before Joe Musgrove comes back. He all of a sudden looks like a more reliable piece into your rotation. I have to, and I have to give the guy credit. This guy has been wearing us out every Randy Vasquez start. I don't know how many times I have to be mentioned every time Randy Vasquez doesn't do well, but I will say this. I got to give props to our guy, Ken G. This guy I don't know what. He tweets at me when Randy Vasquez doesn't do well, like, I am Randy Vasquez, and I was out there not pitching well. I have nothing to do with how he pitches. And he goes, I owe B-Serp an acknowledgement of an apology. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. How about you just watch the entire season, okay? Just watch the whole season. This is not the NFL, okay? It's not one game a week. There's going to be ups and downs. I said at the beginning, what did we say at the beginning of the year? Randy Vasquez has the ability.
Has the potential.
And the potential to be a top-end starter. Not he is your best starter. He has the potential to be. And so as soon as he went into the you-know-what during the middle of the season, every single time he pitched, my notifications through the roof. This guy's an idiot. I can't believe this. Oh, my God. You know what? I appreciate the guy acknowledging his mistake. Yeah, you're welcome. Go enjoy Randy Vasquez now. Stop tweeting at me. Stop it. I didn't block you. He didn't say personal stuff like he did to you, so I didn't block him. But I was just like, all right, you know what? I'll give you a like for that. I've seen all these tweets. Maybe they'll stop tweeting at me every time Randy Vasquez pitches. Like, I'm Randy Vasquez. I have no control over Randy Vasquez pitching. I almost want to tell Randy in the clubhouse, hey, I need you to pitch better, because when you don't pitch well, I get nonstop tweets for no reason. I don't need to say that. Randy's a cool guy. I like Randy.
I think he'd appreciate the joke as well.
He would. Good for Randy, though, to have it. I mean, he looked really good. He's looked really good in his last couple outings. Like, am I going to sit here and say, start Randy Vasquez in a playoff game? Absolutely not. But Randy Vasquez is pitching to a level that helps this pitching staff. And I think he knows it's like there's competition right now for this pitching staff for when Joe Musgrove comes back. Although the last report we had from Kevin Acee was they're going to continue to have him pitch in the minor leagues on rehab starts and kind of wait to September to just add him as, an extra guy to the roster so they don't have to take anybody off this roster. And you know what? I don't think that's a bad decision with the way the pitching staff is.
And that decision became a little bit easier now knowing, that you don't have to worry about getting two on. You just have to get one. You don't have to worry about Nick Pivetta anymore. You're just worrying about Musgrove. And from what Acee said, it's going to be two more rehab starts for Musgrove, which is going to take him up to the very limit of his rehab assignment time. So solid, very good on the Padres as well for not overreacting to the Casey Mize issue. He may miss a start or two, but for for them to just stick with the plan as far as Musgrove is concerned and not overreact to the Casey Mize freak injury, the team deserves some credit for that as well.
Walker Buehler yesterday. What more can you say about Walker Buehler and what he has done for this team? I mean, again, another guy that went through a tough patch. He has had a couple of good stretches, but that guy is a veteran pitcher that keeps finding ways to be effective despite the fact he doesn't throw 97 anymore. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 4 strikeouts. He did give up the one home run. His ERA is a 4.63. I've said it multiple times. I'll say it again. He was brought in to compete for your number 5 spot. So you can't view him as like anything higher in the rotation despite injuries. He wasn't brought in to be a number 2 starter or a 3 or a 4. He wasn't even brought in to be your 5. He was brought in to compete to be your number 5. He has done an excellent job. When we come back, we'll talk about Walker Buehler because we got to get to break and what he has done. Would you be okay with him starting a playoff game? We'll discuss that next on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Sports Station 97.3 The Fan. check 1, 2. 10:39 on a Monday. It is a long. I got a long Monday. I had a long Sunday yesterday. As a matter of fact, it's a busy time of the year. It's a busy time of the year. I got high school football. I got USD soccer. By the way, foul. I'm going to take a foul, not a tech, but a foul.
He draws the foul
Because I failed to mention on Friday, even though I sent it to Frank and I discussed it and I said, we have to mention this on Friday. I failed to mention that the University of San Diego men's soccer team beat the number one team in the country on the road and the reigning national champion.
Congratulations. Yes, I completely forgot about that too.
We got so into like moving parts. We had football. We had, we were going to do it with Drake, but Drake couldn't come on. Mm-hmm. And, we got so involved with just so many different topics. I forgot to mention. So foul on me for that. USD men's soccer team went up to Seattle on Thursday, and the Washington Huskies soccer program, who were celebrating their home opener as national champions, San Diego goes up there and goes, wham, not so fast. Championship run is over, big dog. USD put up 2 goals early. They surrendered a goal late. They win 2-1 over Washington, and they start the season 1-0. I did their game yesterday. I thought, all right, well, now you got to build off of it. And then Liberty scored in the 41st minute to go up 1-0. And I'm like, oh, boy, here we go. And then I'll tell you what, USD, they scored 3 goals in 10 minutes, Frank. They scored 3 goals in 10 minutes. Noah James got the first one to tie things up. And then Steven Ramirez scored 2 goals in a span of 2 minutes to take a 3-1 lead against Liberty. And then they cruised to a 3-1 victory over the Liberty Flames. So men's soccer is 2-0. A big win for the women yesterday on the doubleheader. I called both games. I was all in. I don't need one telling me that I don't like soccer. I was locked into soccer yesterday for like 8 straight hours. I had the women's game before. They knocked off Cal 1-0 on a goal by a freshman.
No.
No, that's for the Europeans. I can say nothing. This is America. We say nothing here. 1-0. They won 1-0 over Cal Berkeley on just an absolute heater from Mia Turan. Her first collegiate goal. I mean, she ripped it from way outside the 18. And she snuck it between a leaping goalkeeper in Savic for Cal, and it hit the bottom of the crossbar perfectly into the net.
Nice.
For the only goal for USD. They got it in the 16th minute, and they were able to hold off Cal. San Diego defense is very good for the women's soccer team under head coach Greg Laporte, who is a Poway High guy. And the best part about this is both teams, the men and the women, a lot of San Diego connections, a lot of San Diego athletes. They're off to a really good start. Not surprising that we have great soccer here in San Diego. No,
absolutely. And you got to win from San Diego FC as well, a dominating one as well. 3-0 against Colorado Rapids over the weekend as well. So big soccer weekend for San Diego as a whole, professional and amateur.
Great soccer weekend. Great Padres weekend as well. So
and the Wave as well.
Yeah, the Wave. Yeah, that's right. High school football started too. Foul on Frank for saying no. I agree.
And by the way,
he draws the foul.
Since we're calling fouls there, Augie, foul on you for calling it grasketball.
That is a foul. We got college football this week. Can't wait. We're locked in now. But anyway, I went up to Orange County. I went to I watched one of the craziest high school football games on Friday. It was amazing. Orange Lutheran, who we play on Thursday on JV and Friday this week, they got the opening kickoff. Mm-hmm. They have their head coach is first year at Olu. He was at Los Alamitos last year. They take the opening kickoff back to the 50. They score in 3 plays. Like they go double reverse flea flicker on the first play. The deep ball's actually covered. They have to hit the check down, and then they they have a knifing run for like 10 yards, and then they hit a touchdown pass, and then they Then they run a fake PAT, and they're up 8-0 to start the game. Miami Central goes 3 and out, but they fumble on 3rd down, and then Orange Lutheran jumps on the ball at the 10-yard line, and you're like, oh boy, this is going to be a rout. And then Olu they get held to a field goal, so they go up 11-0. Meanwhile, Miami Central just keeps chipping away in field goals, and they get to a point where Miami Central takes a 16-14 lead on Orange Lutheran late. Orange Lutheran then scores off of a couple of mistakes by Miami Central, and so they're up 22-16 with about I think it was like 2 minutes to go. Miami Central could not throw the ball a lick. They were I know the quarterback play was terrible. I'm like, oh man, this guy's not very good. Then I find out he's like a 4-star commit to Pitt, and I'm like, oh wow, okay. Pitt might want to start looking for a different quarterback based on what I saw. But Miami Central, they have the ball with like 2 minutes to go. They convert a 4th down. They're out of timeouts. They convert a 4th down by inches. Next play, they get a guy on a bomb, like about 50 yards, gets the ball to the 30-yard line with about 1:13 to go. They get dinged for like 2 holding penalties. We're down to 45 seconds. It's 3rd and 20 for Miami Central, down 6 at the 40-yard line. 3rd and 20. Orange Lutheran goes to a prevent defense. They rush 2. So they drop 9 guys in coverage. Quarterback looking, doesn't see anything. He takes off running. He goes towards the sideline. He gets 10 yards. The entire Miami Central sideline and their fans are screaming, get out of bounds. He cuts back inside. There's nobody there. He rips off a 40-yard touchdown run and scores with 14 seconds left to tie the game. PAT is good. They take a 23-22 lead with 14 seconds left. Orange Lutheran's stunned. I don't know why you ever want to run a prevent defense. I don't know why you would ever run a prevent defense. I don't know. It prevents you from winning. It doesn't make a lot of sense. 2-man rush, crazy. Kid scores with 14 seconds left.
Is this the part of the game where 14 seconds was like 13 seconds too long, or?
Miami Central takes the lead. Orange Lutheran gets the ball back. They run a couple of plays, and they do the Scott Van Pelt pitchy woo woo and disaster strikes, and ends with a flag, but it doesn't really matter. And Miami Central leaves that. They were getting dominated the whole game. They leave with a 23-22 stunner. Miami Central is actually like the better team in terms of the Max Preps rankings, but it was one of the craziest games I've ever seen. And it's not even a San Diego section game. We'll talk about the San Diego section games in just a little bit. Did you turn your vote in on time?
I did, yes.
Nice.
I did it yesterday morning.
I did it. Yeah, I did it early yesterday too. I had all my results ready to go.
See, this was me. I sent my friends the results, and then I sent them my top 10. I'm like, is this a fair top 10? And they're getting picky about actually dropping Cathedral to second because they didn't play.
You're going to drop Cathedral after an idle week?
If you guys win next week, I'll put them back up there. But I have to reward the 3rd place team when the 2nd place team loses and you don't play. So you're a half a game back.
That's
sorry.
Half a game
you're
back.
You're a half a game
standing.
You're a half a game back. That's what I'm talking about.
I can't wait for the poll to come out, and you're the only one that didn't vote for them one.
So I'm sending them that, and I'm sending them my reasoning, and we're bickering about that. And eventually they're like, yeah, other than that, I mean, it looks all good to go. So I send it. And then a couple hours later, I see some goober from ESPN, I think, put out a prediction of the college football playoff that has Texas A&M winning the national championship. I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm worried more about high school football than this idiot worried about college. Why was I concerned? Why was I concerned at all? It clearly doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't. Not on the rankings portion. The Max Preps rankings determine the playoffs and everything like that. But there was a lot of big weeks, and we'll talk about that. We'll get Frank's top 10 when we get to the high school football rank. When we get to the high school football segment. All right, let's get back to Walker Buehler and what he did yesterday, but in more importantly, like what he could potentially do to help the Padres out. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 4 hits, 4 strikeouts, and a home run. Walker Buehler is back to being, what we saw in the middle of the year when he had that little streak. And I think you're going to see a lot of up and down with Walker Buehler as he has, reinvented himself as a pitcher. But I think he has done a great job in helping this rotation for most of the year, considering the circumstances of what this rotation has. And I don't think it would be crazy to say I would feel comfortable with him making a playoff start. Now, when you get to the playoffs, you don't necessarily need him to go like 6 innings. He only really needs to go like maybe one time through the order, maybe 1.5, and then you could go to your next guy because you only need a couple of starters. But I'm just saying, I don't think it's crazy to say he can make a start in the postseason. I mean, he's done extremely well in his last 4 starts. He has gone 6 innings in his last 3. He's actually had a quality start in his last 3 outings. And if you go back a little bit further in a game that the Padres beat the Diamondbacks, he only went 4 innings, but they kind of took him out of the game a little bit earlier at 76 pitches because they were trying to lock down a victory in a very important Arizona series, and they treated that game like a playoff game. I mean, if they didn't do that, I bet you he goes 6 innings in that game too.
One major thing I want to point out from the rotation as a whole, and I'm counting Casey Mize as the starter, 1 walk. That was a big problem late in the spring, early in the summer, was the Padres starting rotation walking guys, walking the ballpark, walking 3 or 4 guys a game. Vasquez, 7 innings, no walks. Mize, 2 2/3, only 1 walk. Buehler, 6 innings, no walks. Not giving anyone a free pass. And now that's just the starters. That is a fantastic run of form from the starting pitching. And couple that with couple that with 7 strikeouts. Not bad. Not bad at all. You wish the strikeout numbers were a little bit higher, but 7 strikeouts to no walks, I'll take that.
In his last 4 starts, he's 2-1. The team is 3-1, and he's got a 2.05 ERA. Now, he had a stretch like that in the middle of the season, too. I mean, he had, for what was the entire month of June, he had not given up more than a run in every one of his starts. The thing that throws it off, his start in Chicago was 9 runs, and then he had the start against Arizona, give up 7. But those skew his results. But if you start looking at his last, 8 games. The last 8 games that Walker Buehler has started, the Padres, you know what the Padres record is? 7-1. They're 3-1, or he's 3-1 in decisions. He's got a 3.66 ERA. I mean, that you take that as a number 5 starter, right?
100%.
I mean, that's in his last 8. If you want to just look at like even better numbers, because his start 8 starts ago, he gave up 4 runs. You look at his last 7 starts, the Padres are 6-1. He's still 3-1, and he's got a 2.89 ERA with a 3.89 fielding independent pitching. He's got 27 strikeouts, the 14 walks. The walks have been a problem for a lot of teams. He walked 5 batters in that game against Atlanta, but ever since then, 2 walks, 1, 2, 2. The big 0 yesterday is the big talking point, of course, like Frank mentioned. But the way Walker Buehler has been pitching, if you needed a starter for the playoffs, I would be comfortable in starting Walker Buehler in a playoff game. Now,
not the wild card, in
the wild card, because they're going to be in a wild card game. They're not catching the Dodgers, right? So they're going to be in a wild card series. Right now, I would imagine you're going to go with in some type of order of Mize, Ray, and King, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't throw Walker Buehler out there for one of those starts. And as King has been kind of up and down, I still trust Michael King in a playoff series for the Padres.
I would trust Buehler, like say you win both games of the wild card. I would trust Buehler in game 1, maybe game 2 of that wild card series, and whoever doesn't pitch in the wild card is the guy who gets the 1 or 2 start. But if you go to 3 games in the wild card series, I would not mind seeing I wouldn't mind seeing Walker Buehler open up that series.
I'd go Mize first. I'd go Ray second. I'd go King third. And then if that's set up for if you had to go 3 games and then the division series, I mean, I wouldn't be opposed with, and we'll see. He's not up here yet. Joe Musgrove game 1 a divisional series against the Dodgers or something. I'd take that. I would. But again, they don't have to go deep. You have a great bullpen, and then you got guys like Walker Buehler. And I think Walker Buehler, in terms of starting games, he's like the guy that would start a game in 2022 with, instead of throwing out Sean Manaea and throwing out Mike Clevenger, you're throwing out Walker Buehler. I feel more comfortable in him than those two.
I agree.
We'll continue the conversation when we come back, a deeper dive into what happened over the weekend for the Padres. Rush on a Monday. Rush. I was told in high school by my AP stats teacher, Gary Remacher, that Rush is the greatest band to ever live. He would play Rush during class. Little Tom Sawyer for you. Him and other teacher there at Cathedral, also Unilum, Tom Rickling. The two just diehard Rush fans. Like they love Rush. I mean, something about Rush. They get going for Rush. Big Rush fans. I think they've seen him like 100 times. But I remember in class, they still teach at Cathedral. I saw Gary the other day. He's the baseball coach at Cathedral. Die-hard Rush fans. That's all right. It's good.
And they only caught a bad whap because most critics are cynical donkeys.
Rush. We should learn AP stats today. I learned something called Tom Sawyer.
I learned Rush is awesome.
And Rush is good. And the Padres need better OPS. That's what I basically learned.
Please tell me you got that reference.
No.
Big Daddy. Okay. It was about
I saw
the original
that.
content.
I saw that a long time ago.
The original comment was about the sticks, but yeah, that's what that was.
Rush. All right, let's talk about the pods from over the weekend again. Specifically yesterday. I don't know how many times this needs to be like talked about, but I'm going to sound like a broken record, a broken Rush record. Didn't foul.
He draws the foul.
But you're finally starting to see this team play like I think a lot of people thought they would play like. I mean, this is it's the same thing again. I mean, they went 21. They've gone 21-7 in the last 28 games. So, the fact that this team is starting to look like the team people hope for, I think, is a big sign for what's to come. I mean, against Minnesota, San Diego swept the series. They won 6-2 on Friday, 8-1 on Sunday, and they got contributions from everybody. That was the best part. First game of the series, obviously, was the representative of the complete team. You had Randy Vasquez throw 7 excellent innings. You had Ty France homer and walk. You had Tatis with 3 hits. You had the bullpen finish the game without allowing Minnesota to mount a comeback. You had Mason Miller strike out the final 3 hitters. I mean, you're talking about guy you traded for in a closer that you gave up a top prospect for contributing. You talk about a superstar player that you gave a massive contract to in Fernando Tatis Jr. You're talking about a guy that you picked up in spring training on a minor league deal as you brought him back to the organization in Ty France. And you're talking about a guy that you traded Juan Soto for. That is, under contract and is making a small amount of money. I mean, every single one of those players is drastically different on your overall roster, and they are all collectively adding to what is a team right now in the Padres that nobody wants to play. And I think the biggest thing right now for the Padres is everybody's contributing, and this is a full 26-man roster that is dangerous. And I know I keep bringing it up, but I think what the Twins broadcaster said, do you have that clip? Did you see that?
No,
on social media?
Not.
I mean, what he said was like so true. This is a hard team to beat right now if they're playing at the level that they are with a little bit more starting pitching and quality starts, the elite bullpen they have, and the way that the offense has been playing. This is a team that could do damage in October. We didn't think that was the case about a month ago. I mean, how many of us were thinking, like, what's the point in trading at the deadline for a team that's not going to do any damage in the playoffs? What's the point? And I said the point is making the playoffs because you never know what's going to happen. How quickly has that outlook changed now, Frank?
No, it has changed. It's changed a lot. At Fridge, no, that was not your foul. That was Braden's foul. It really has. I mean, and again, the frustrating part is that this is a team that you knew. This is the team that you knew they could be all year long, and you knew
that's
you weren't
100%.
You weren't going to get them all year long like this because, again, the ebbs and flows of a baseball season. But this is the team that you knew that was there. This is the team that always had that potential all season long, and it didn't start showing until right now, which is by far and away the most frustrating part of this season. However, you're at least getting them now. It's one thing to know you have the potential and never see it. It's another thing to get it late but still with enough time. And that's kind of where you're at right now. This team is hitting its potential late, but still with enough time to be able to make the playoffs, do some damage, and really strike fear into the rest of the National League that they could be facing in the postseason.
I'm running out of things to say about Fernando.
He is disgustingly good at the baseball game.
I mean, it's kind of wild, and I saw this pop up again on social media. Tweets are for real, man. I mean, the people just post random stuff out there, and they forget that the internet's forever. It's just from a tweet from May 8th this season from a Padres fan. I've generally never felt stronger about a case for trading Fernando Tatis Jr. I never wanted that. I still don't, but I don't blame anyone for thinking it's best for both sides. He's lost. He's not the player who got extended. He's not good. Okay, I think this season is the perfect example, Frank. And you know what? We're going to have to do it next year.
Of shut up and wait.
We're going to have to do it next year. We have done this every year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, just let the season play out.
Well, we might not have to do it next year.
Enjoy the ride. Well, next year, people are just going to complain they're not playing. And you're going to be like, you know what? You could have enjoyed you probably love to see Fernando strike out 50 times right now. Probably take that. Probably love to see a Griffin Canning clunker in the big game, giving up 8 runs and like 50 pitches in the first inning. But like for everybody that was just, I just feel like people want to just, it's social media is their sports therapy of this is bottled up inside me. I got to get this information out there. It's going to make me feel better. And if that's the case, fine. Okay, fine. But some of these tweets about Fernando from earlier in the season were just ridiculous. And this is why, again, what did you and I say when he was going through the slump of not hitting home runs, but even more so when he was just going through a slump in general? He's hitting the ball incredibly hard. It's only a matter of time for him to start figuring this out. Because people just wanted to say he was cooked. He's not on PEDs anymore. Look, he can't hit home runs. He's not the player he used to be. What a tired act that was. Now the guy is just, he's unbelievable. He is back to what he was.
This is an incredible tweet that Juan just sent me from somebody else.
All right, what do we got? What date? What was the date of this?
It doesn't have the date. It just has the tweet. It also doesn't have the person who sent it either.
Good. Protect them from what might be.
Trade him. He'll waive it. There's no way he wants to be here. New scenery for him. Get us back some young pitching or a bat. Our best season was without him. Rip the Band-Aid off now. He's never coming back. He's too mentally fragile.
Oh, my God. People just say the dumbest stuff just to say stuff. I mean, seriously. The other thing, too, is like we just live in this impatient world, Frank. So.
You think?
People just want stuff immediately, and we have things where you can get things immediately. I mean, it's amazing what I can do online in terms of like ordering something and having it dropped off my door within like minutes of me ordering it. It seems like, but we now have that mentality for a lot of different things, especially in sports. Where, look, I get it's been a long time, Padres fans, but like it's not going to happen immediately. And I think a lot of the, social media is fake anyway. That's not what the majority of any population says in terms of their viewpoints. But I think it's funny to look back at it now and look at what people were talking about when it came to Fernando. When you sign a guy, and I said this so many times, you know this, you had to hear this nonsense for like 2 months. When you sign a guy to a 14-year deal, you get the good and the bad. He's not going to be perfect for 14 seasons. It's very rare that any player is perfect for 14 seasons. You're going to see some ups and downs, including full seasons. And this year is like the beginning looked like it was going to be a down year for Fernando. It's not. I mean, if you look at the overall leaders right now in Major League Baseball in terms of average, there are not a lot of guys that are hitting for a higher average than Fernando. I mean, despite his slump that he has been on at the beginning of the season, despite all of that, It's not a good chance,
I mean,
he's got theoretically a decent chance to win the batting title for how crazy his average is right now.
He wasn't necessarily in a slump. I mean, he wasn't good in April. Absolutely not. The home run slump was what everyone was concerned about. During that home run slump, he was still hitting in the 280s, high 280s, almost 290.
Yeah, people are like, but we paid
his
him.
Average was fine.
We paid him in home runs. Like, it's going to come. I love my guy, Chris Ello. He was like, he gets paid to hit home runs. He gets paid to contribute offensively. I mean, if it happens to be a home run, great. But he's getting up there now. He's got 17 now in the year?
Yeah, I think so. It was 16 or 17. I saw 16.
If you were to ask us, because my buddy asked me this like 3 weeks ago about hitting 20 home runs. If you were to ask us that question in May, you'd be like, absolutely not. He's not getting anything close to 20 home runs. I mean, he's going to hit like 25. I think he's got 8 home runs left in him by the end of the season. In, what is it, like 30-something games left?
I think so.
I think he can hit 8. I mean, shoot, he's hit like, how many has he hit in the last like 2 weeks?
I think he hit 2 in New York. And he hit 2 yesterday.
2 yesterday. I mean, if you look at his average right now, I mean, if you look at the averages in baseball right now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that are hitting over 300 this season. Currently. Out of qualifying players, there are 8 guys that are hitting over 300 right now. Like, what's Fernando hitting? Like 290 something right now?
It was 284 the last time I looked, but that was a couple days ago, so I'm not sure what he's doing now.
Dude, he had like what was he, 3 for 4 yesterday?
4 for 5.
4 for 5. He had a 4-hit day again.
Let me see what he's got here.
I mean, he's hitting 290. I mean, there's not a lot of guys in front of him right now. There are, as I said, 8 players that are hitting over 300 right now in baseball, which is a crime in itself in Major League Baseball
100%.
that we're at that point. But, Arise has the most at 322. Yordan Alvarez hitting 320. He's in line to potentially win the Triple Crown. Simpson for the Rays hitting 310. For the Pirates, Nick Gonzalez is hitting 307. Gabriel Moreno's hitting 306. Did you know that?
No.
He's having a good year. Otto Lopez hitting 306. Yandy Diaz is hitting 306. Freddie Freeman's hitting 302. Those are your 8 players.
I think Cal Raleigh's hitting over 300 strikeouts at this point.
It's not a hit then.
He draws the foul.
Yeah, see yourself out.
Hey, you've got 2. I got to catch up.
You should get a foul for dropping us in the rankings because they didn't play, but that's neither here nor there. I don't want to be biased in that kind of aspect. But again, as poor as Fernando played in the month of April and May, I mean, the fact that he's hitting 290, there are not a lot of teams or not a lot of players in front of him right now when it comes to batting average in Major League Baseball. I mean, that's combined too. I didn't even like just factor in the National League. And that's pretty impressive, to say the least. I mean, Fernando right now to qualifying hitters has the 12th best batting average in all of Major League Baseball. Can you believe that? 12th best.
I can believe it.
I mean, he's right behind Alec Burleson, Michael Harris II, and Jake McCarthy of the Rockies. I mean, think about what people were saying about Fernando in April and May. And think about where he's at right now in terms of average. And then you look at home runs. Like, look, 17 is nothing to write home about. But it's still a good year. I mean, in terms of like all of Major League Baseball, 17 home runs. He is tied for, what is this? 71st. I mean, he did not have a great year in terms of hitting home runs. He's up to 17 now. He's probably going to finish like 25.
I want to hear that conversation when he goes home if he does win the batting title. Hey, Dad. I know it's not 2 grand slams in an inning. I think I'm a little bit better of a hitter now, you know? I got this trophy now. It says he's not
going to be able to pass Arise. He's got Arise in front of him at 322. It's going to be hard to pass. He's got Nick Gonzalez in front of him, who's hitting 307. Gabriel Moreno's in front of him. Otto Lopez is in front of him. Freddie Freeman, Jake McCarthy. Unfortunately for Fernando, most of the guys in line for the National League batting title are in line for the top batting averages. All come from the National League because the American League's terrible outside of Tampa. So, but he's up there in a lot of statistical categories, and that's pretty impressive considering the start to the season that he had. We talked about Walker Buehler in the previous segment. I mean, he is a significant piece to this team. I mean, when the Padres signed Buehler, the expectation was that he could potentially become a major part of the rotation, but he's increasingly looked like someone San Diego can trust in meaningful games. And we talked about that in our last segment. He has already had several stretches where he's looked like the pitcher who dominated for LA, just in a different way. Like, he's not getting guys out via speed now. It's other ways. And in June, like we mentioned, he had a 1.71 ERA in the month of June across 5 starts. And he dominated LA in a June matchup while allowing only 1 run over 5 1/3. Now, the importance, of course, for him is sustainability. Padres don't need the 2020 Walker Buehler that helped the Dodgers win a World Series. They need him to get 6 quality innings, limit the damage, and that's, I think, very doable for this guy down the stretch. So a lot of things playing off. I will say this, and we haven't given him enough credit at all. I think a lot of people have been out on him because of the start that he had in a Padres uniform. But when you talk about this bullpen that the Padres have, and everybody talking about Adrian Morejon, and everybody talking about Mason Miller, and you go down the list, Yuki Matsui has had a great year. I mean, at this point, it's hard to argue that Yuki Matsui is not one of your better arms in the pen. I mean, is he set up to get high leverage innings? I don't necessarily think that's the best idea right now, but he's got a 1.4 WAR. He's 3-1. He has a 2.17 ERA, and in 38 games this year. I mean, we're going to have to give Yuki Matsui some respect here. I mean, he's had a really good year for the San Diego Padres. Now, his fielding independent pitching is a lot higher at a 4.41, so he might be getting a little lucky, but he's got an ERA plus of 188. That means he's 88% better than an average relief pitcher. He's been great, Frank. I mean, you kind of have to give the man his flowers. Yuki Matsui's been a kind of unsung hero in that bullpen.
And again, you signed him to be a closer. Now he's not that, but he is certainly better than what he was. He has adjusted to the major league game, or at least it appears as though he has finally adjusted to the major league game. It took a lot longer than anybody would have wanted, but he has finally figured it out, and you're getting to see how good that lefty can be. He has been phenomenal this season, since starting the season on the IL, had his rehab outings, went okay. And then ever since he's gotten back to the major leagues, he has been one of the more reliable arms in that bullpen the Padres have had. It's Wandy Peralta from last year.
Yeah, he's looked really good. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation and mention a couple of updates. Obviously, Nick Pivetta, there's obviously something that happened in terms of timing that we need to talk about. Plus, what Casey Mize after he left the game on Saturday. We'll get to that. And your phone calls. Derek and LaMesa, please wait on hold. We'll get you when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Sports Station 97.2 The Fan. $11:24 on a Monday, broadcasting studio. We know how. I want to mention all of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking. It's better. We have one guest today. It's kind of a, it won't be on a hotline. It'll be on a direct line, an SDCCU fan direct line. Sam Levitt will join us in about an hour and 15 minutes as we get a scene set for the introductory press conference of José E, Feliciano and Kwanza Jones. They're being introduced as the new owners of the San Diego Padres, and we will carry that for you in the 1 o'clock hour for you commercial free. So stay tuned for that. Anyway, we want to get back to the phone calls today. 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. Let's get out to the phones. Derek in La Mesa. Derek, what's going on? We got week 0 college football this weekend, Derek. I'm sure you're excited.
That's it, very much so. Hey, usually I start my calls off with you guys saying it's another glorious day in San Diego. However, I didn't realize I was back in Sarasota, Florida, playing minor league baseball with this hot, sticky weather. I'm over it.
Yes, I agree with you.
Hey, Frank. Couple of things here. Do you happen to be up at 6 o'clock in the morning yesterday to watch Man City beat Bournemouth?
I was up at 6 o'clock yesterday morning, but it was not for that.
Hey, how about my boy Erling Haaland cutting off his Viking hair? Now he looks like a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah, I know. Did you see the video that he posted of him FaceTiming Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
I did. That was classic. Hey, just a quick Toddy take, and then Braden, I'm actually going to ask you to do a little work for me. I got a question for Ello since they don't take any telephone calls. But, hey, with Toddy, Pete Crow Armstrong and Shohei Ohtani aside, I mean, those guys are great players. Yeah, they're going to battle for the MVP, but I'm telling you, when Toddy's on a heater like this, there is no one in the game more electric than Fernando Tatis Jr. He is just incredible when he's on one of these heaters.
He is. He really is. I mean, it's fun to watch. He just the excitement he brings, the swag he brings. It's great, and I'm glad that we're getting that right now at the right time.
Yeah. Hey, speaking of Elo, because you brought him up, Braden, I need you to do a little recon for me and just flat out ask him a question because he's wearing me out. I don't know what Elo's problem is with Dan Lanning. And I know that touches a little bit of a nerve with me being a huge Ducks fan, but he constantly talks trash about Lanning, but he doesn't back it up with any information. I'm like, is this guy familiar with Lanning's story? Has he never heard about Lanning's wife battling bone cancer, let alone the fact that Alabama got sloppy seconds with Caleb DeBoer because Lanning was the one that they wanted. I mean, Dan Lanning turned down Alabama in the mighty SEC to stay with the Oregon football Ducks. And Elo just has something against this dude, but he never explains it. So jam him a little bit when he comes in and maybe he'll address it on the air. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll ask him. I mean, I also don't know why he doesn't like Dan Lanning. I mean, as Oregon was very interested in recruiting Honor Falave, one of our players, obviously. And, he had nothing but great things to say about Dan Lanning. He was like, oh, he's a cool guy. He's like, he loves talking defense, whatever. And, he takes it, looks after his players, and he really thought he was cool. I've never met Dan Lanning, but I like what they do up there at Oregon. I mean, I think they do a good job. I think he's creative. I think he's fiery enough. I don't think he's like fake. I think that's just kind of how he is. I mean, there's a lot of coaches that probably play up to the TV element to things, but I don't have a problem with Dan Lanning. I like Dan Lanning. I was on the same side as Derek too. I don't know why Elo hates Dan Lanning. I really don't. I haven't really heard him explain it either, but I don't really feel like I'd love to have Dan Lanning be my head coach. I think he does a good job at Oregon. I have no qualms about Dan Lanning, Frank.
I don't really have an opinion on him either way, honestly. I haven't paid that much attention to Oregon football, to be honest.
Right.
And that's not a shot. That's just I have not paid that much attention to Oregon football.
Well, you should, because they're in your conference now.
They
win in a Happy Valley and got your coach fired, essentially. It's okay. Matt Campbell's going to save the day. Just like he did Names. Save the day in Names. And that's okay. He brought in over all the Iowa State players that lost to Colorado.
No, I know Oregon football is good.
Wasn't his week to watch or his month or last couple of years, exactly. I guess.
No, I know Oregon football is good, and I know Dan Lanning is a big part of it, and I know that coaching staff up there is fantastic. I don't know enough about Dan Lanning as a person to make a comment.
It's true. Like, there's a lot of people, like, there are people that I have met that I was like, I don't like this person, that my buddies like, that have never met them, right? And I go like, that guy sucks, dude. I don't know why you like. It's like, oh, you're just being upset. Like you're just jealous. And I'm like, no, the guy's not a great person. And then and then I had one of my other friends confirm it because he had to deal with this guy too, and he's a very prominent figure in broadcasting out, not in San Diego, just a national guy. And they're like, oh, he's just let's make excuses for him. I'm like, bro, he literally is terrible. Like, I don't know what to tell you about this. If you were to go meet him, you would be like, this guy sucks. But they're afraid to do that. And then I had another friend that had to work with this guy too. And he also is like, oh, he's like the worst. So, you know what? That's why they have a thing that says, don't meet your heroes. But it sounds like, Jake Waters has been able to interview him in the YouTube chat. He likes him. I think he's good. I think he's a good guy. I mean, I haven't personally met him, so I can't really make a judgment here nor there. All right, let's talk about what happened with Casey Mize over the weekend. Looked not great at the beginning, but Frank, according to the report, it sounds like things are a little bit better than initially anticipated.
Yeah, and it sounds like he slipped going into the dugout on one of the steps. They wrapped his ankle in between innings, and the wrap just wasn't working. So sprained ankle for Casey Mize, which again, as we mentioned at the top of the show, he had missed part of this year with an adductor strain, and I think that's what everybody automatically went to, was that adductor strain. But looking back at it, I don't know why people went automatically with the adductor strain, because you could see, like, when the trainer's out there, he's working on his landing. Like, he's stepping up, and unless I've completely lost my anatomy knowledge, the adductor is not near your foot or your leg. So it's just a freak injury that, for some reason, I don't think it's the first time has happened here. I think a couple guys have gone slipping down the steps here at Petco.
You got middle spikes. It's hard to walk at middle spikes.
It is. So, I remember.
I get that. Early indication is it's not a catastrophic injury. It sounded like Casey Mize wanted to stay in the game. The team just precautionary was like, we're just going to let you sit. It wasn't really going well for Mize anyway. It's like, why force it at that point? Let's just make a change. But we'll see what happens with Joe Musgrove coming back.
And he's going to get the extra day off because you have the off day on Thursday before going out to Tampa Bay. So
we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about the latest with Nick Pivetta on the other side and get to a sports thread. I do want to clarify, I do not take medical advice from Frank Marchese.
No, unless it's revolves around asthma or peanut allergies. Yeah, no.
Okay, so Frank, what is an adductor? What did you say an adductor was?
It's a muscle.
Where did you say it was?
Not near the leg.
Where did you say it was?
Not near the leg.
More specifically, where did you think it was?
I believe I said the arm.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's actually your groin area.
Yeah, it's the arm below your waist is where it's near. Commonly referred to in the medical field as and leg.
Yeah. Okay. So again, do not take any type of medical advice from
us and specifically me.
Frank. You're also getting dragged for, quote, I don't pay attention to Oregon football, and, quote, I moved Cathedral down because of a bye.
That's fine.
You're getting dragged, dude.
Okay.
It's just, you know what? It's a foul out Monday, apparently, for Frank. Get him with the foul with the medical.
Yeah, that's
He draws the foul.
Did you stay at a Holiday Inn Express last night?
And as Juan said, it's not near the ankle. So it's closer to the ankle than the arm, but it's not near the ankle.
And muscles connected to the
something's connected to the red thing.
Don't listen to Frank for
red
medical
thing's
advice.
Connected to my wristwatch.
Okay. Speaking of medical stuff, let's talk about Nick Pivetta for a second. Obviously, we knew this was going to happen, right? We knew this was going to happen in terms of like team option when this went down. He is not going to have an option like he had initially. on his contract because he did not. What was it? How many days was it? He had like
it's
120 days or something like that in his contract. If Nick Pivetta was on the injured list for 120 consecutive days, 130 or whatever it was, his player option would be converted into a club option. So the contract situation for Nick Pivetta has now flipped in the Padres' favor. It was 131 consecutive days. Pivetta has now spent 131 consecutive days on the injured list with his right flexor strain. His contract originally gave him player options covering the next 2 seasons. He was owed $32 million over the next 2 years, but his contract contained a specific injury clause that if he spent more than 130 days on the IL with the qualifying injury, his player option would convert to a team option. That threshold has now been crossed. The Padres now have a $14 million team option for 2027. Pivetta no longer has the ability to simply opt out after the season and next. This could be a big financial win for the Pods. I mean, they essentially went from having a limited control over Pivetta's future to having the ability to make the decision themselves. But is Nick Pivetta worth $14 million in 2027? If he's healthy and pitching like the guy who finished 6th in the NL Cy Young voting last season, the answer could easily be yes. But if the elbow continues to be an issue, the option, and that's a very different position than being locked into roughly $32 million over the next 2 years. So I think this is a difficult conversation because, and I think it makes it even more difficult if Nick Pivetta actually does come back a little bit and pitches, because if he had something like this in Boston and he came back and he was able to pitch. And then he pitched, obviously, last year for the Padres and did extremely well. You know, if you want to roll the dice and think this isn't going to be a problem in the future, having him for $14 million with any type of production like last year is a major win. But the downside is locking him into $32 million over the next 2 years for him to potentially miss all of next year and then be back for only a limited time as he comes back from maybe something, if this is a more significant injury. I don't necessarily think the Padres want to do that. And the other caveat is with the new owners that are going to be doing a press conference here in a couple of hours now at 1:00, which we will carry for you live. You know, is that something that they're willing to invest in a guy like Nick Pivetta? I think this is a lot more difficult of a decision than people think.
I agree to a point. I think you'll know everything you need to know about the health of Nick Pivetta by what the Padres do. If they think he needs a surgery or if they think he needs some sort of procedure, I don't think there's no reason to re-sign him. There's not. Unless it's minor enough to where he can pitch starting in, say, June of next year. If they do re-sign him, I think they feel confident that this year of rest was enough to get you through, if not next year, the year after as well, to get him through the remainder of the contract. I can't see a scenario where if he's going to have a surgery or if he's going to need a surgery at any point in time, why you would spend the money to have him sit on the IL. I think that's kind of for an extended period of time.
Just to have him for the next year. Are you willing to do that? I don't necessarily know the Padres are in that kind of position. I mean, I know, you have new owners, right? And they want to spend money, and we'll see what they say today, at the press conference. But like at the same time, regardless of how much money you have, you don't necessarily want to spend a ton of money to have this guy like maybe pitch one more time, like in not next year, but the following year. I mean, the following year is getting $18 million. So, I like if you commit to that, that's fine. I mean, he's still only going to cost you the 13.7 towards the AAV. So in terms of like AAV wise, it's not crazy. Okay. Like that's an affordable affordable to look at. In terms of like the year by year, I mean, you'd be paying him $18 million to have a year maybe after a significant surgery or a significant injury. Now, there is no inclination that he is going to have that, but that is, I think, the worst case scenario for the Padres. Is it worth paying him the $14 million next year to not pitch and then paying him $18 million in the first year back, coming off of maybe an injury. Again, this is worst case scenario. We haven't heard that this is part of the conversation. Is that worth it to the Padres? I don't necessarily think it is, considering you can use that money elsewhere. Now, the other thing too is like he's had too many setbacks in the rehab. I mean, I don't even know if he's going to come back this year at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I just, the more I look at this, you'd be taking a massive risk to try to save a couple of bucks to have him be part of your rotation in 2028.
And you also have the potential of $18 million coming back on the books if you're looking at it strictly from a money perspective with Yu Darvish. He's got 2 more years, and that's an AAV of $18 million each year. So you could have that. You have money coming back on the books for Darvish coming back if he does come back next year. So I wouldn't, if you're worried about money and if you're worried about how close you are to your own personal salary cap or to the Major League Baseball salary cap, if that turns out to be what happens, that's money that could potentially be used elsewhere if you're looking at it just specifically from a money standpoint.
Yeah, it's interesting is like he didn't take, Yu Darvish saved you some money this year by not taking any money.
Yeah.
He got the $1 million signing bonus is what he got. And then, but like you're right, his AAV hit is $18 million the next 2 years, even though he's only getting the $15 million. It's just how the contract worked out.
Yeah, he had a front loaded
deal. So you're not paying him a lot in terms of like year by year, but in what is accounting to the AAV. But here's the other thing too. This is why these conversations are difficult. You don't know what the rules are.
Yeah.
Or what the rules are going to be. And so if there's going to be a salary cap and these contracts get grandfathered in, if you're the Padres, you're like, I don't want to waste $14 million of my cap to a guy that's not going to play. Is there going to be an injury cap? Like, I mean, that's, all these questions that need to be hashed out that you just don't know. All right, let's get to a very quick sports thread.
You know that group chat, the one that's always blowing up with the biggest sports takes, debates, and breaking news?
You got barbecue back there, and you didn't invite me?
Yeah, we've got that too. Welcome to the Sports Thread, where we break down the top 5 stories in sports, just like you would with your crew.
Oh, no! Disaster! What a bad idea!
No filters, no silence, just real talk.
All right, Frank, what we got going on today?
I think there's 2 real stories here that you'll want to bite into. So we'll do these 2.
Number 1.
Did you get the Niners story?
No, I did not.
You didn't see that? You didn't see their owner today?
Oh, yes, I did see that.
God.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. That'll probably be on there tomorrow when more information comes out. Deshaun Watson's first home game since tearing his Achilles in 2024 was a rough one, both on and off the field. Watson was booed loudly by Browns fans during Saturday's 31-7 preseason loss to Buffalo, then struggled in the second half, completing just 5 of 12 passes for 36 yards and an interception. Watson called the reaction disrespectful, pointing to the complicated relationship he has had with the Cleveland fan base dating back to his controversial arrival at the 3-year stretch of injuries and poor production that followed, and as well as all the other stuff off the field. Meanwhile, Shedeur Sanders played well in the first half, going 9 of 11 for 74 yards and a touchdown and interception. Browns coach Ted Monken is expected to name his starting quarterback early this week, which he did this morning. It's going to be Deshaun Watson. Can he realistically win Cleveland fans back with his play, or has the relationship between Watson and the Brown fan base become too damaged to repair?
If he does well and he wins. It's that simple. I mean, think about all the other problems that other NFL players have had in the past that have done some hellacious things. What has been the proven comeback? Winning. I mean, think about some of the worst ones. I'm not going to say them, but just start thinking about some of the worst ones. What wins the fan base over, Frank? Winning. I mean, you could be a bad football player and a good guy, and fans will like you. You could be a good football player and a bad guy, and fans will still like you. You just can't be a bad football player and a bad guy. So if he's a good football player and a bad guy, they're going to be fine if they win them games. Like that's all this comes down to. It's As Al Davis said, Augie mentioned, just win, baby. It'll save a lot of problems. I mean, I don't want to be the guy that like doesn't feel like, some people just get super upset by those comments. That's just the reality of life.
And just an update, Deshaun Watson did say that he regretted the comments that he made about the fans being disrespectful. He did mention that.
I think a lot of these athletes don't understand, like they live in a fantasy world and don't understand the life of a fan.
Mm-hmm.
They think they just need to be worshipped all the time, and that's just not the case. And a lot of people don't want to do that.
Yep.
Number 2.
Here's the other story. Staying with the Browns. The Browns waived tight end Daquan Wright, but the unusual part is what comes next. If he clears waivers, he already has a prearranged agreement to return to LSU to play college football this upcoming season. Wright, who played for LSU's coach Lane Kiffin at Ole Miss, is believed to be the first player to sign with the NFL as an undrafted free agent, then pursue a return to college. His situation stems from the ongoing legal battle over eligibility rules that could allow certain athletes an additional season. Are we entering a new era where players can move between college and the NFL based on opportunity, or does allowing NFL players to return to college create even more chaos in an already complicated eligibility system?
This is stupid. Everything about this is stupid. There should be, the NCAA they can't really rule on anything because they don't have antitrust law exemptions. So until they get that, you're going to continue to see stuff like this because eligibility is stuff that doesn't work when people are getting paid. Okay. Like a lot of these things are illegal in terms of like a workforce. And if you got a good lawyer, you're going to be able to find your way to get eligibility. So until this gets changed, they get antitrust law exemption, you're going to keep seeing this. This is dumb. Once you move on the NFL, college is over. It's time to life sucks. Okay. It's time to deal with it. You weren't good enough for the NFL. Your football career should be over now. Okay. You don't get to go back to college and just reap the benefits of just being better than 17, 18 to 22-year-olds. Like, this is a joke. Everything about this is a joke. I think schools that participate in this are a joke. I mean, some kid that just went through the entire summer because all these teams are finalizing their rosters and have finalized their roster. Some kid that just went through the entire summer and all this stuff just lost a spot because some dude in the NFL couldn't make it. And it's like, I'm coming back to college. It's not surprising it's at LSU either with Lane Kiffin there. Yeah. But you're going to see more and more of this. And there's going to be less and less opportunity for high school kids until they put in some rules. So, not much more to say on that. Frank, good job. Appreciate that.
Thanks.
When we come back, continue our Padres conversations. Take a look at the high school football week 0 and see what Frank did in his first top 10 poll.
Padres. You're hearing about it right here.
The Michael King contract, super creative. I think it's a great win for the Padres.
Real opinions, real takes, no wasted time.
It has been the little things that have outdone San Diego State, and that's where they got to improve.
Live and local on 97.3 The Fan. The Braden Surprenant Show starts now.
I can't believe it's already noon. Flying through it. I agree with Derek and La Mesa, though. Man, it is hot outside, dude. I was like dripping in sweat yesterday. Dripping in sweat. Now, where I broadcast from at USD is a hot box because it's like they have like the press box up top that's air conditioning. Then they have the other press box, which is like a trailer, natural air and fans. There's like I mean, this is like up there with how I felt in Texas. It's hot. It's gonna be a hot week this week. It's gonna be tough getting a lot of games in too and practices for high school football and high school sports out there with the heat. So everybody try to stay cool. Make sure you're hydrating out there. Don't take it for granted. I mean, it's don't underestimate like the heat. I've had a heat stroke one time. It's not fun. Drink and eat.
I don't know if you guys saw this or not, but the Padres have updated their front office on their website.
Okay.
Control person and principal owner, José E. Feliciano.
Mm-hmm.
Principal owner, Kwanza Jones. In memoriam, Peter Seidler.
Oh, nice.
So he is still up on the Padres front office list.
That's nice.
Front office directory.
We're going to have the press conference coming up in about an hour or so. Well, we're going to hear from Sammy Lev here in just a little bit. But right now, on a Monday, we talked a lot of Padres baseball. We're going to continue that in a little bit. But to recap what happened in the high school football world as we take a look at what's going on in high school football. What a pretty big first week of high school football. We'll talk about some of the games and then let you know who Frank voted for in his top 10.
I don't care anymore. Chelsea scored in the first minute of the season. We're rolling right now.
You know what? Good for
Premier League champs.
Good look. You know what? Already off to a great start to the José E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones era of Padres baseball. Do you think they're watching? They got to be watching this right now, right?
It's on USA.
I wouldn't
be surprised if it's at the ballpark.
They're stoked. Wow, what a great start. What a great day. What a great day for those guys. Great day for us here. As we're all now Chelsea fans, right, Juan? Right? We'll get you a Chelsea jersey. A kit, if you will. Okay. Do you have the music?
No. Relax. Calm down.
Should have saved it.
2 seconds. Relax.
Should have saved it.
Relax yourself.
While he's doing that, did you see? Because Carl Ravitch did an ESPN game yesterday or over the weekend with for Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
Did you see the cool comments from was it Garrett Mitchell or something like that?
No.
Thanking Carl Ravitch for the 30 years of being a great broadcaster for basebal.
Nice.
It's great. Oh,
yeah.
What a classy move right there.
For sure.
Classy move. All right. We ready to go?
Yes, we are. Told you to take 2 seconds.
Let's get to high school football. Aha! The bells. The bells will be our high school football sounder music, if you will. The big game that won Jake tickets to see Luke Combs on Friday. Oceanside Granite. That was a big shocker to me. Oceanside knocks off Granite Hills 44-29. They were the eighth best team coming into the season, according to the preseason rankings. That was a huge game for Oceanside. And they closed the game out with a statement. I mean, they were up 37-29, 119 to go. And Granite was trying to make a stop to get the ball back. And it was 4th down from the Granite Hills 36. And Coach Fale Pomele ran Philly special on a fake reverse that got a 36-yard touchdown as Anthony Bacanero took the snap, sprinted right, handed it to Isaiah Austin. Austin reversed direction, appeared to be running a traditional reverse, pulled up, and threw a toss to Capena Sato for a touchdown. He had an easy 36-yard touchdown to put the exclamation point on the game as Oceanside knocked off Granite Hills. That was a pretty impressive game.
Yeah, looked like it was very entertaining, and one that I think we both picked Granite in that one. So that was a very, very good game for sure.
Huge game. Anthony Buccanero, 11 for 22, 208 passing yards, led the offense at quarterback. Neki Latuli, one of the best running backs in the county, 27 carries, 153 yards rushing, 3 touchdowns of 1, 8, and 16 yards. Jared Mahoney, 6 receptions, 122 yards, and Capena Sato had that big touchdown, the game-clinching 36-yard TD, 3 catches for 88 yards. Granite Hills wasn't necessarily bad offensively. Zach Benitez threw for 297 yards and 4 touchdowns. Courtney Miller-Thompson, the transfer from Lincoln, absolutely exploded. How about this for a fantasy day, Frank? Courtney Miller-Thompson, 12 catches, 230 yards, and 4 touchdowns for Granite Hills in his debut.
Nice. Yeah, that's really not bad at all. He was absolutely fantastic. Miller, 12 catches, 230 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's really not bad at all.
Not bad at all, but at the same time, they gave him a lot of opportunities. Benitez was sacked 4 times. He threw a pick 6 to Lucas Tunning. Oceanside ultimately made enough winning plays to overcome Granite Hill's explosive passing game late. But, Granite, I think this is a tough loss at the beginning of the season. They have some time to make up ground. They do have some good opponents on their schedule early. But for Oceanside, this was a step in the right direction of becoming back, if you will. I mean, it's been a long time since Oceanside's been one of the best teams in San Diego. That's a big statement win for the Pirates in Week 0. Other major Week 1 results. Frank Marchese is now number 1 team in the county, the Mission Hills Grizzlies. They roll over Juan Ruiz's El Camino Wildcats. They win 47-3. Fury and Ferreira, 3 passing touchdowns, 2 rushing touchdowns in his Mission Hills debut. Braden Roberson, 6 catches, 132 and 2 tuds. Ryan McKenzie, 5 catches, 141 yards. Mission Hills outgained El Camino 435 yards to 86. That is pure domination out of Mission Hills. Carlsbad won a pretty big intersectional matchup. They knocked off the number 2 team in the state of Nevada in Arborview. They beat them 24-17 at home. They're now ranked 19th in the state of California, and they opened up with a pretty big victory against Arborview. Tough loss for Lincoln. They fell in a shootout. They lost to the LA City Conference champion Carson 35-30. They did have some pretty big performances nonetheless. Darian Bridges, 6 catches, 128 yards, 3 touchdowns. Andre Jackson was 15 for 22, 216 and 3 tuds. Caleb Williams had 11 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown, but the number 5 team in the county starts the season 0-1. On to La Costa Canyon, Frank, where they went out to the desert, made a statement.
Yeah, La Costa Canyon posting its first opening game shutout since 2012, blanking Baldwin Park. When it blanked Baldwin Park 42-0 back in 2012, they beat Central Union 35-0. Number 7, San Marcos beating Aliso Niguel.
Yes.
23-7. Knights also led 20-0 at the half and cruised to the win. This was another game that we thought was going to be good. Rancho Bernardo versus St. Augustine.
St. Augustine.
Listen, I knew I was going to do that. I heard you say it 20
Saints.
times.
You can just call them Saints.
St. Augustine. Rancho Bernardo scoring 3 times in the fourth quarter, winning with Gage Weddle, hit Trevor Daminato, okay, for a touchdown pass with 1:52 left. Weddle also had a touchdown pass to Juan Lopez.
He had 20 carries for 148 rushing yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Gage Weddle did. I mean, that was the hard-fought game. Saints was leading for most of the game, and RB pulled off the comeback, a 28-24 victory. Aiden Farrell had 20 carries, 102 yards, and a touchdown. Palomalo, weapon everywhere, not a surprise. Palomalo is a stud. Mm-hmm. He had a 10-yard touchdown run. He had a 78-yard touchdown run. He had a 55-yard punt return for a touchdown. I mean, he's a one-man wrecking crew for Saints. I think that was more of a concern for Rancho Bernardo than it was anything else. But I think it's a positive for Saints. I mean, Saints trying to turn things around. That's a hard-fought game right there. That was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I think I forget who we picked. I think we picked Rancho for that one.
Picked Rancho Bernardo.
Yeah, I believe we picked Rancho for that one. Santa Fe Christian coming away with a big win against Helix. That was
the biggest shocker to me. Not that Santa Fe Christian won, but they dominated a Helix team who outweighed them in the trenches, who had a lot of great athletes. I mean, that was just a pure dominating result over a Helix program that now is just, I mean, that's as tough a loss as Helix has ever taken in their history, especially to like Santa Fe Christian. But got to give credit. Dax Labrum, 16 for 27, 221, 3 touchdowns. Brady Berg had 3 touchdowns. Chase Woolley, 205 all-purpose yards and a touchdown. Chuck Stover, 12 tackles. Drew Brees and company. He's the offensive coordinator for the Santa Fe Christian Eagles. They're 1-0. That's a huge win for Santa Fe Christian's football program, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. And against the Helix team that was expected to walk right over them. That's a big one.
Torrey Pines did pretty well in their first game. They beat Honolulu Radford 45-0. First week 1 shutout since 2018. Maranatha Christian won 71-0 over Orange Glen. They had a big day. Fallbrook handles Escondido 47-14. Caleb Way, 171 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. Junior Hernandez, 113 on the ground and 2 touchdowns. Hudson Quinn, 5 catches, 82 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kendall Kolick, block punt and 2 long kickoff returns. They have a saying in football, Frank, if you block a punt, most likely your chances of winning go through the roof. And Fallbrook did that. But San Pasquale continue their winning ways as well.
Yep, against Classical Academy, 41-13. West Hills taking down Chula Vista, 28-7. I believe there's a baseball score in here. Looks like Hilltop Baseball and Coronado getting their work in early. 8-7 Hilltop over Coronado.
Wow, 8-7. Hoover dominated Southwest San Diego. Hez Manuel, 25 for 32, 472 in the air, 6 touchdowns. 54 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns. Do I need to say that again? Was that impressive? I mean,
that's
you kind of glossed over the kid that had 200 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Sorry.
Hez Manuel, 25 for 32, 472, 6 touchdown passes, 54 yards on the ground, 2 rushing touchdowns. Hoover beats Southwest San Diego 52-21. University City over Frank Marchese's Olympian Eagles. Everybody at Olympian, you can take it up with Frank for why you lost because he didn't wear his class ring. Come on.
Yeah, that's my bad.
Think about the children. Think about the kids that worked their ass off all off season, and one of their alumni didn't go through with the superstition, and Olympian loses the UC. You let the ball club down, Frank. You let him down.
It's not that I didn't go through with the superstition. I knew it the night before. I knew it on Thursday night, and I just forgot to take the ring out. I had a bunch of stuff to do on Thursday night. I forgot to take the ring out, and then I remembered while we were doing the high school segment on Friday.
University City had 5 picks against Olympian. Declan Houston had 2. Hesh Hertz had 2. DJ Ferguson had 1. Hertz also had a receiving touchdown. While Tyler Hahn blocked the punt, recovered it for a touchdown. What did I say about blocking punts? Take him to the house. Chances of winning go through the roof. It's a 38-13 victory for UC.
So
out in East County.
So what you're saying is that University City would have not scored any if it wasn't for the touchdown, for the punt return, the punt block, and the interceptions, and Olympian would have won 13-0 had I worn the ring.
Correct. Absolutely.
Cool.
Steel Canyon in their debut of their brand new stadium get a big win over a good San Diego High football team. They win 7-3. Speaking of somewhat baseball scores, defensive slugfest. Luke Rohde had 14 tackles. Xavier Wilson had 14 tackles. Kai Cooper, the son of Stephen Cooper, 92 rushing yards on the ground, 83 yards receiving, and 7 tackles in the loss. San Diego drops their first game in Steel Canyon 7-3. A good start. Steel Canyon plays Santa Fe Christian this week. That should be a good matchup coming up on Friday. You talked about the Hilltop game, but overall reaction to the first week of the high school football season, I thought there were some surprising scores. I really did. Obviously, there were some big performances. I mean, if you look at the quarterback performances this week, who had the best day? Zach Benitez, 297 yards and 4 touchdowns despite losing. Hez Manuel, 472, 6 passing touchdowns and 2 rushing touchdowns. Have a day for Hoover. Cam Pereira had 5 touchdowns in his San Pasquale debut. That's a big day. Dax Labrum, 221 against Helix with 3 touchdowns. Gage Weddle, 148 on the ground, 2 rushing touchdowns and 2 in the air. And then Anthony Barcanero, 208 yards passing and an upset of Granite Hills. That's some pretty good performances out of quarterbacks here in town.
Yeah, very, very fun opening week 0 for high school football for sure, all around the county.
Let's get to the top 10. My top 10 vote this week. Here's who I had into the pick. I have Cathedral at number 1. They did not play this week. They will have Orange Lutheran on Friday from out of town, who lost to Miami Central in a 1-point contest. Miami Central is ranked top 30 in the country. Carlsbad, I have at number 2. I think that's a good win for them, taking on Arborview. That's a huge win for Thad McNeil and company. They got a really good team who made it to the Open Division final last year. I think they're going to be in the Open Division final again, potentially this year. Mission Hills, another great program. They had a good win, solid win against El Camino, where they outgained them by a large margin. I go with Oceanside 4. I think if you knock off the number 2 team coming into the season, you get to be in the top 5. I don't necessarily think I'm ready to say Oceanside is back yet, but this is a good step in the right direction. Oceanside's got some tough opponents here early on, but they have opponents that if they get through them can show that they are in fact back. It's going to take more than just one game. So that's a big win for Oceanside. I have it number 4. San Marcos going out of section. I know Elisa Niguel is not necessarily maybe one of the better teams in the southern section. They are a good football team, though. San Marcos gets the victory there. I have them at number 5. I moved Granite to 6 after the loss. The Costa Canyon I have at 7 after beating Central. I keep Lincoln in the top 10 at number 8. Santa Fe Christian is in my top 10 after a big win over a Helix program that is traditionally good. And I got Rancho Bernardo in my top 10 as number 10 for my vote this week. We'll tell you what the county had in a second, but we'll get to Frank's top 10 after 1 week.
So my top 10, again, based off of Cathedral being on a bye and with the number 2 team losing, I moved Mission Hills up to number 1. That, again, based off purely, you guys didn't win. You guys didn't lose either. Mission Hills did get a win. I moved them to number 1.
So should the number 1 team in the country this week in college football get moved down since there's, it's week 0 and they don't play and there's only like 10 games this weekend? So what you're telling me is TCU, if they beat North Carolina, should be ranked in the top 15.
I have Cathedral number 2, Carlsbad number 3, LCC 4, Oceanside 5, Granite Hills 6, San Marcos 7, Lincoln 8, and the 2 big shutouts. I'll give Torrey Pines and Point Loma some love. I have them at 9 and 10.
No love for Santa Fe Christian, huh? Drew Brees going to come down here and kick your ass.
I'll get to meet him.
You did it on purpose?
No.
Did it on purpose to try to see? It's Frank's first vote. He's got to get better as it goes along.
I will, yes.
But I will say, a lot of the teams are very similar to the teams that I have at this point.
And there's also, I promise, I'm taking this seriously. Like, I'm taking this seriously as far as... Great.
I'm going to post your vote on the bulletin board in the locker room, and it's going to be some extra love.
Kevin, right, I put Point Loma number 10. That's what I did.
He put Point Loma 10. That's a big win over Losinger, which is always I never know how to pronounce that. Here's the other scores for you. We'll rip through some of the ones we didn't get to. Westview wins the rivalry over Mount Carmel. They win 23-19 from Friday. Patrick Henry, the Patriots. First of all, you know why Patrick Henry won on Friday? They put the Patriot Pat back on the lid. The hell, finally. I don't know what took you guys so long at Patrick Henry to put the Patriot back on the lid, but they finally did. And guess what? They're 1-0. Surprise. I'm not surprised. Uniforms look fresh out there at Patrick Henry High School as they knocked off La Jolla. I know we got to get to break. We'll quickly go through it. Mountain Empire beats Anza Hamilton 39-0. Paris over Kearney 27-20. Grossmont gets a victory over Madison 34-7. Santana over Morse 37-12. Monte Vista beats Crawford 31-23. Eastlake shuts out Bonita in a rivalry game 28-0. Otay Ranch over RBV 23-14. Mount Miguel beats Montgomery 42-26. Del Norte wins a thriller over Mater Dei Catholic 29-28. Southwest El Centro beats San Ysidro 7-0. Valley Center gets revenge on Bishops. They win 34-17. Tri-City Christian wins over Temecula St. Jean de Listonic 36-0. Las Vegas beats Army Navy 42-0. Coastal Academy over O'Farrell Charter 40-0. Mira Mesa over Castle Park 31-13. Imperial over Mission Bay 25-20. Valhalla destroys San Jacinto Valley 75-0. They're up 55-0 at halftime. Mart Vista beats El Cajon Valley 27-7. Sweetwater over Vista 52-21. Palo Verde 40-20 over Calexico. Palm Desert beats Brawley 24-16. Imperial beats Mission Bay 25-20. And the big win, of course, for Point Loma. They dismantled losing her 65-0. Ryder Watson, 155 yards and 4 touchdowns. Senior quarterback is back for the Pointers. That's a look at what happened in high school football. Dive back into Padres baseball when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show. San Diego Summer Sports Station, 97.3 The Fan.
In-depth Padres conversations anywhere in San Diego. Check out 97.3 The Fan's Epic Padres Roundtable, Thursday mornings at 9 a.m. Sponsored by Epic Wings, voted San Diego's best wings 13 years running. To order, visit epicwings.com.
I'm Austin Gardner, co-founder of GL Pools. In 2006, GL Pools started in my grandma's backyard with one truck, a few clients, and a mission to take great care of pool owners. 20 years later, we're honored to care for thousands of pools across the county as San Diego's #1 pool service. To everyone who has invited us into your yard and life, you've helped us build something special, and we are grateful. If you're not having the pool experience you wanted, let us help. Mention radio for 20% off new service plans for 2026. From all of us at GL Pools, thank you for 20 great years, San Diego.
At Fraser Farms Market, San Diego's natural grocer since 1971, we're always swinging for fresh. Now through August 24th, save on items like sweet seedless watermelon for $3, fresh boneless skinless chicken tenders for $2.99 a pound, wild sashimi ahi steaks $8.99 a pound, and back-to-school favorites like local Ollie salami snack packs for just $1.99 and sweet craft dessert cups for $3. Fraser Farms Market in La Mesa, Oceanside, and Vista.
What's up, guys? This is Braden Surprenant. Before the season even kicks off, everyone is making predictions. Who makes the playoff? Who wins their conference, and who is lifting the trophy at the end of the season? On Kalshi, America's #1 prediction market platform, you can trade those predictions in a live market. Indiana is coming off a championship season, so the big question is, can they do it again? Right now, Indiana is trading at 9% to win it all, meaning a $100 trade will pay out about $1,100 if they repeat as champions. And as the season gets closer, those probabilities can move in real time. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house, and as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. Download the Kalshi app, use code BSERP to get $10 when you trade 10, Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade on anything. Must be 18 years or over only. Restrictions and eligibility requirements apply. Kalshi products are not available in all jurisdictions. Prices, values, and available markets may differ from those mentioned. For more information, see kalshi.com/regulatory.
Being offered a puny settlement? Don't cash that check. It's a joke. You got messed up. Instead, click iaccidentlawyer.com to see big wins.
Our YouTube chat is so funny sometimes. You got our guy, I Need Money, who doesn't know geography, but he's pretty spot on a lot of other stuff. And he puts in the chat that they could hear commercials on the YouTube.
Yeah.
And so he's yelling at you for that.
Yeah, I know. I saw it.
And he goes, Monday afternoon, and already got a foul, might be in foul trouble midweek. And I died laughing. Hope Kyle is getting his reps. QB2 back there. All right, Kyle, start getting loose, man. We might have an issue. Come
Foul. No, 2 fouls.
Oh, man.
Gonna play your favorite break music coming up here too.
So funny.
Just for that.
Do you have that saved?
The what?
The commercial. The Tijuana, the Cox commercial.
No, I
used
don't.
To have. You should have kept that just to play in the YouTube on at break. One time, just to set. Anytime that people start coming at you, you just got to have that ready to go. Oh man,
I have the power over here, folks.
He does. He has the power to do a lot of damage. We haven't talked a lot about it, but I do want to give a shout out to the Sweetwater Valley team that made it to the Little League World Series. Obviously, going 0-2 stinks, and they're the first team out at for the USA bracket, but that doesn't take away from making it there because it's very difficult to do. And they ran into a tough pitcher in Iowa on the first day, and you lose 1-0, and probably had a great opportunity to win that game. A little bit of controversial on the way that game ended, and then obviously it didn't work out in the game against Alabama. But it's hard to make it that far. I just think sometimes like you get a little spoiled with how great San Diego's teams have done in the past, but it doesn't guarantee that they're going to win it every time. So I thought they got hosed on that Friday.
They
on Friday
definitely
with
got
call.
hosed on
I thought
Friday.
that call was a joke. And I saw somebody bring up a good point on social media, and I didn't even think about this. When you got kids throwing in the mid to high 70s and it looks like 100, like MLB 100, you can't be giving guys like way extra off the plate.
No.
I mean, you're doing that when a kid's throwing like 50 and he can't find the strike zone. Not a dude that's humming it at 75. But again, they're volunteers. It's Little League World Series. It's a different deal. So I did want to give them a shout out. Obviously, it's tough. That they didn't get a win up there, but what a fun experience being able to go to the Little League World Series and be in Williamsport and play in that stadium. That's something that not a lot of people are able to do.
I wish I had that break now.
What?
I wish I had that ad break now saved. I really do, because next stop, Tijuana. Tijuana Central Bus Terminal.
Oh man.
They're 2-0.
They are 2-0. They're pretty good. They beat Sydney, Australia 7-1. They beat Nicaragua 3-1. They're in a pretty good spot right now on the international side, and I think they're going to make it through that international side, which is a little bit easier.
I didn't see
in
how
terms
that
of the path, but
I didn't see how that Panama Canada game ended. How did that? It was
they're
nothing.
playing right now. They're still playing. It's
No,
on
this
they just scored on with. Oh, there it is. 2-0.
Vancouver win. Oh, they bumped.
Vancouver wins 2-0.
They bumped Canada Panama for the regional game. This Ohio Texas
and
game.
Texas.
That's why I thought it ended.
Well, it did end. Looks like Canada won. Or
no,
is that
they're the away team. Canada's the away team.
But did they say final on that, or did they say that's just an update?
I think that's just an update. Let me see.
And then you got Texas and Ohio. Is that what this is?
Yes.
So Mexico right now on the international side is awaiting Czechia and Japan, and South Korea is awaiting Canada and Panama. And Mexico will play their next game on Tuesday morning out here on the West Coast. And then if they win that, they will play Wednesday. They're getting closer to the final, if you will. This is an elimination game between Ohio and Texas, and Ohio has a 1-0 lead in the top of the second inning. There was that. The other thing that we wanted to talk about briefly was before we get to Sam Levitt on the other side was the Ketel Marte situation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how this ends with Ketel Marte being back with the Diamondbacks. I mean, I really don't. I don't get the situation. Did they ever say like why he ended up not being with the club? I mean, I guess they came to like an agreement, and Torey Lovullo was like upset with this, and it seemed like people wanted an apology. You could tell like the players didn't want to really mouth off about it, but they definitely were not thrilled when asked about it. And then Ketel Marte this weekend was spotted, at a casino in Arizona. And look, like he's on the injured list. He could do it with his free time what he wants, and Torey Lovullo said that, but it's just a terrible look for Ketel Marte at this point in time because, he doesn't show up to work. Everybody's worried about his safety, his health, and his well-being. And then over the weekend, another round of scrutiny as he's at a Phoenix area casino during Arizona's Friday night game against Cincinnati. Torey Lovullo says doesn't violate team rules. He could do whatever he wants with his free time, but I agree with Torey Lovullo. I wouldn't have made that choice after everything that he just put the team through. I mean, it's hard to unpack the situation with Ketel Marte.
Yeah, that's exactly. He said while he is free to do whatever he wants, here's the direct quote: "It's not a choice I would make. I'm sure it's not a choice a lot of people in this room would make." Is what he said about Ketel. He said, but Ketel is a grown man. He can make his own decisions. He did not break any rules. He was fully able to go there and do what he wanted to. Like I said, he makes his own decisions. That's the quote from Torey Lovullo. And
there's no way that relationship's not severed between the Diamondbacks and Ketel Marte.
This after what happened, it's one thing. Last year was one thing. His home got robbed, left the team. That's understandable. It's not great to not give a heads up, but still, that's understandable. We still publicly have no idea why Marte left the team. And then he's spotted at a casino during the game against the Reds. That's not great. That's really not great.
I mean, he was initially placed on the restricted list after he failed to report to Arizona's game at Fenway. Diamondbacks later moved in the restricted list from the restricted list to the injured list with left knee inflammation. He's currently rehabbing at Salt River Fields, which is their spring training complex. The casino where Marte was spotted is directly across the freeway from the team's complex. It's not overly surprising at that point. So while he wasn't technically breaking a rule, the optics are obviously not great. But they can't punish him for going to a casino. There's nothing you can do about it. Now, Marte worked out on Saturday under team supervision. He's currently limited to throwing, upper body training. Sunday is a scheduled day off. On Monday, today, Arizona plans to ramp up his rehab schedule and have him begin swinging the bat. Marte is eligible to return from the injured list on August 30th. I mean, they entered Saturday as a game behind the Padres, but that's now 2 games, and I just think this could potentially cripple this team.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
Yeah.
But we'll pay attention to it. We'll see if there's any more updates, and it doesn't really sound like you're going to ever really know what happened with Ketel Marte and why he didn't show up to Fenway Park. When we come back, we're going to get a scene set from Sam Levitt, and we'll get you ready for the press conference coming up at 1 o'clock. New addition to the Padres' brand new ownership group, Kwanza Jones and José E. Feliciano. We'll get to a scene setter with Sammy when we come back. $12:41 on a Monday. This show's flying by today. Always great talking about Padres baseball. Always great talking about some high school football from over the weekends. Always just a lot of stories to get to on a Monday. But today is a special day for the Padres. They're now officially announcing with a press conference the new owners of the San Diego Padres in José E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones. And joining us now on the SDCCU fan live wired line, it's not Big Bang Banking, it's better, is our pre and post game show host, Sammy Levitt, down there live at Petco Park. He's going to give us a little bit of a scene set here for what is, Sammy, a pretty big day for the Padres organization.
Yeah, it's an incredibly exciting and important day in the history of this organization as we welcome Kwanza Jones and José E. Feliciano as the new principal owners of the San Diego Padres. And I think everyone here is so incredibly excited to hear from them, hear about their vision for the franchise, get to know them. Everything that you've heard about Kwanza and Jose to this point has been so good and encouraging. And it's an incredibly exciting day. I mean, really a historic day in the history of the San Diego Padres and an opportunity to meet the new principal owners. So I think it's incredibly exciting. I think, you've got a lot of media here already. We've got Ben Higgins filming stand-ups here already. He's ready to go. Ben and Woods, of course. Every media member you can think of is here. Some chairs for Mayor Todd Gloria, Congressman Scott Peters. So some dignitaries will be here as well. Very notable people inside the Padres front office. And it's going to be a really exciting and I think a pretty historic day at this ballpark, no doubt.
And I think before we dive into the new ownership group, obviously there are a couple of minority owners that are going to stay on with this new ownership group. A couple of the Seidler family members are also going to stay on in a smaller capacity. But before we talk about the new, I think you got to kind of talk about what this previous ownership did to get the Padres to the level that they are now, and they did such a great job of what they took, of what they bought a long time, a handful of years ago, a long time now, and what they are now. I mean, this previous ownership group is definitely leaving this organization in a lot better place than they found it.
Braden, I totally agree with you. Padres CEO Eric Greupner said something the other day on TV that really, I think, encapsulated it. They've flipped the script of what's possible in this market of the greater San Diego area. And I thought in that great article today in the San Diego Union Tribune, written by Kevin Acey, I thought José Feliciano had a great quote in there about Peter Seidler. He said, quote, "Peter left a legacy that is incredibly important. He did right by the city and left a team accustomed to winning, contending, and dreaming big." And I think that perfectly encapsulates what Peter Seidler, what the Seidler family did for this organization. They brought them to a different place. And I think it really today is a culmination of where the Padres are now, what's transpired at this ballpark in this city with this baseball team for the last 5 to 10 years. The fact that they have 53 sellouts and we're not finished with August yet. The fact that you can show up here on a Tuesday night in April and the place is sold out. The fact that you can show up to Petco Park and know you are going to see Fernando Tatis Jr. and Manny Machado and Jackson Merrill on the field. The fact that fans have had the opportunity to watch these players year after year and really enjoy the long-term commitments the organization has put forward. So there's no doubt to me, today is definitely a culmination of what's transpired here under that previous ownership over the course of, the last handful of years and especially the last 5-10 years in particular.
We're talking with Sam Levitt, who is live at Petco Park, getting us ready for what will be an exciting day for, I think, a lot of Padres fans as we officially get introduced to José E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones, the new owners of the San Diego Padres, as that has been made official. And I know Eric Greupner will be down there and talking again today as well. So obviously, what the previous ownership group did with the Seidler family and bringing it to what it is now, I think the exciting part for a lot of Padres fans is what the new ownership group can then do in taking the baton and maybe going even a step further. And it sounds like, and we've had limited, rumblings and rumors about these two individuals, and we've seen the reports about like what previous owners groups they've owned, how they've made their money, all that stuff. But, without really getting to hear from them officially, Sam, it does seem like these are two people that want to make this their own collectively, and they want to bring something special here to San Diego. I know all of that's usually talk, but and until they start making moves, but I feel really encouraged about the direction this organization is in, and I think that's what makes today so exciting.
Oh, we've heard people describe them as incredibly smart, incredibly competitive, and that goes without saying when in a business sense, I think you've got to the point that José and Kwanza have got to. And they truly seem like people who not only want to win, but want the best for the city of San Diego, and also who have a willingness to dream big. Again, I go back to that article today in the paper this morning, and another quote that really struck me from José E. Feliciano was, quote, "We share something important with San Diego, the willingness to dream big and the belief that the impossible can become possible." And I think the impossible becoming possible really speaks to a couple of things. Number one, what has transpired here over the course of the last decade as far as the cities, from a fan standpoint, their investment in this team, the way they've shown up and fallen in love with this team sort of all over again. But also, from a financial perspective, I think it speaks volumes to what they plan to do with this team. We saw the Seidler family, Peter, this organization invest in players in a way that we never saw the Padres invest in players in the prior decades in the history of this organization. So, they seem to be on the same page of investing heavily in the organization. I'm sure that means in a variety of different ways. Obviously, you have, a sort of interesting situation right now with the CBA negotiations and what the financial structure of the sport might look like heading into next year. That's something that's, out of a lot of people's control, and we just don't know what that's going to look like. But whatever that system is, I feel pretty confident in saying, based on everything we've read and heard, and we'll have a much better idea once we hear from José and Kwanza today, that they are fully prepared to compete, to invest, and to make this organization the best it can possibly be in every way, shape, or form. So we'll hear from them in a bit, and I'm sure we'll have a better idea. But everything that's been said and written so far, I think Braden is incredibly encouraging.
Well, they should be in a pretty good mood. I mean, they also, or José E. Feliciano with Clear Lake Capital, it's Chelsea FC. They already got a 2-1 lead as they go into halftime. Maybe they have that. It's a perfect planning right now for this particular press conference. But obviously, this is a big deal. This is more than just like announcing a new player. This is more than just a new manager. I mean, this is a very important thing for the city of San Diego, right? When you own a franchise like the Padres, the connection there. And it sounds like they really want to invest in this community and be part of the San Diego community. What can you tell us about that? And I know you read one of the quotes from them about that, but what can you tell us about, the owners before they even hit the stage about how much they want to just be part of San Diego?
Yeah, it sounds like that is something they understand really well, that there is a certain connection and responsibility to the community when you own a sports franchise in that city. And it's something, we know Peter Seidler valued a lot, and it seems like José Feliciano and Kwanza Jones also understand what it means to be part of a community and be part of a city, and such an important and vital part of the community and the responsibility that comes along with it. So obviously they've had a lot of philanthropy in their lives, all the different initiatives they've been a part of, which you can read about, including their alma mater, Princeton, and list goes on and on. So certainly from a philanthropic standpoint, they seem like two people that are incredibly involved and smart with how they give back to communities. And I would expect it's going to be no different as far as San Diego. As they enter this community, owning an incredibly important and valuable asset to this city.
We'll try to wrap things up here, Sam, because I know you got a lot of work to do down there, and we're going to hear from you again in the 1 o'clock hour. But for everybody that's might be just tuning in, what's on store here? How's this going to work, and what should people expect here in the next couple of minutes or so?
Yeah, I think what will happen around 1 p.m., so in about 10 minutes, Don Orsillo, Padres TV voice, will, I believe, be the master of ceremonies here and introduce Kwanza Jones and José E. Feliciano and Padres CEO Eric Greutner. We'll hear from them. We should have some interviews here afterwards, so stay tuned for that after the press conference is done. And again, a lot of people here as far as media, key members of the Padres front office, dignitaries will be here. And I'm sure for Jose and Kwanza, a lot of shaking hands today from media to members of the front office that they're meeting for the very first time, to also players. It certainly sounds like they will address the players at some point today as well, which I'm sure for them and the players is incredibly exciting and also a very important moment. So a lot to go on here, and I'm sure a very, very busy day with the new owners meeting a lot of new people, but incredibly exciting and, truly a historic day in the history of this franchise and in this city.
Sam, we appreciate the little bit of a scene set. We'll check in with you in the next hour or so, but thanks again for the time, and talk to you in a little bit.
All right. Thanks, Braden. Appreciate it.
Sammy Lev joining us live at Petco Park for what is going to be an exciting day in Padres baseball. Again, we talked about it in the open today, Frank, but, the Seidler family got this organization out of what was just some very dark years in terms of on-field performance. And I think you got to give them credit for turning this organization around in a big way, and the results of them making the playoffs and making a couple of runs and getting some star players and filling the ballpark shows as a lot of accolades that Peter Seidler and his family achieved as owners of the San Diego Padres. And I think now with Kwanza Jones and José E. Feliciano, I think they could get the baton and then take it to the next level. And I think that's what makes today very exciting.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and that's exactly what Peter Seidler did. He took this organization from the very bottom of the division and turned it into a perennial contender. And now it is, after his passing, it's now up to Feliciano and Jones to move a little bit further along and to move it to that next level and hopefully get that championship that San Diego has waited so long for, and not just in baseball either. In any major professional sport, the city has waited a long, long time for a championship, and the Padres are far and away the best opportunity to get that done. And it's not going to take as much work, I think, as people think it will.
I don't think so either. I don't, and I think this is. I'm really interested to hear. I mean, they're going to say a lot of things that you would expect them to say. Today is kind of of a formality, but it's still a very big deal. It's very cool to see, and maybe they'll open up about a couple of things that they want to accomplish or some things they want to do, and and they might have something in store. You never know. But I think it'll be great to finally get to hear from both José E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones about the importance of buying this team and why they did it, and why they want to be part of our community here in San Diego. And I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be cool to see. So we are going to have this broadcast for you live, commercial-free, in the next hour here on YouTube, on 97.3 The Fan, on the Odyssey app. Sammy Lev will have some interviews after the press conference. But when we come back, we will meet the brand new owners of the San Diego Padres for the first time at their press conference. We'll get to that when we come back on the Braden Surprenant Show, San Diego's urban sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Welcome back to the Braden Surprenant Show, broadcasting live from the Bill House Studios. We know how. All of our guests join us on the SDCCU fan hotline. It's not Big Bang Banking, it's better. We are getting ready for the introductory press conference of José E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones. Just waiting for kind of this thing to get started a little bit. So as we wait, we will talk about this as it is a big day for San Diego, I think. And we're going to have the coverage for you commercial free during this hour for as long as it takes. Sam Levitt is down there. We'll have a couple of interviews that we will send to him, send over back to him. But this is a big day for San Diego. It's a big day for the Padres organization. It's an exciting day, and you're going to be able to see and hear from the new owners here in just a little bit. They're starting to play a little bit of music out there. They're going to have their introduction. Everybody that's anybody is there right now in San Diego. It sounds like the mayor is down there, according to Sam Levitt. All the big broadcasters in town, all the media members are there for what is going to be an introduction to the new owners here in San Diego. And I think we're going to get out to Don Orsillo right now as he's out there at Petco Park.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Petco Park. We thank you very much for joining us today on this very special day for the San Diego Padres and for our entire community of San Diego. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter in the history of this franchise as we officially introduce you to Kwanza Jones and José E. Feliciano as the new owners of the San Diego Padres. To begin today's program, we welcome Padres Chief Executive Officer Eric Ribner.
Well, thank you, Don, and thank you all for being here today. Today is a historic and exciting day in the history of the Padres franchise. On behalf of everyone in the Padres organization, I am here and honored to welcome José E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones as our new owners. Thank you. Kwanza and José bring extraordinary leadership, experience, vision, and a competitive fire to the Padres. I'm excited for the future and all that we will accomplish under your leadership. So it's my privilege to officially announce José and Kwanza and welcome them as our new owners and to the Padres family. Please give them a warm San Diego welcome. José and Kwanza would like to say a few words before we open it up to your questions.
Thank you, Eric. We'll keep it brief, but today is it's a dream come true. It's an amazing day for us, and we're very grateful, very honored to be here with you and to celebrate today as now the newest members of the Padres family. First, I would like to acknowledge and recognize and honor Peter Seidler. He has built a legacy here. He has left a legacy here that we're very proud of. And he has left this team, this club, this community, this city in an incredible place. And we're just lucky and very fortunate to be the stewards of that legacy. But of course, we want to move that forward. We want to create new memories and hopefully continue that legacy in a way that honors it and furthers it. I would be remiss if I don't thank a lot of the people that got us here or that helped us get here. So I would like to thank, first of all, again, the Padres organization, Eric, AJ, a lot of the Padres staff, employees, and team members, Commissioner Manfred, our fellow owners who voted unanimously for us. Thank you. We would like to thank, but most of all, we would like to thank the city and the fans. We understand baseball, we understand sports, and we understand that the Padres, this organization, is nothing without the fans. And we're here for you. We're here as part of this community. And we cannot promise that we're going to win. We hope that we're going to win, but we can promise that you're going to have our full dedication, engagement to try to make that happen. And hopefully, in our stewardship, which hopefully lasts for a very long time, we will have a lot more things to celebrate. So with that, I would love to introduce my lovely wife and partner, Kwanza Jones.
So you all may be wondering, how does this work? Like, not the mic, this work. Thank you, Jose and Eric and AJ and all of the Padres team and all of you all for being here. When Jose mentioned we are, I'm paraphrasing, thrilled and overjoyed and excited, maybe those were my words. He said it with a little bit more reserve. I cannot even express it. It's very difficult for me to sit in my seat, but I'm going to stay here for just a minute because we've got to answer some questions. But I simply wanted to say thank you, because what happens, as you all know, and I say this often, no one succeeds alone. The Padres are not where we are. You see, now we're part of the family, so we get to say we. All those months when we couldn't quite say it yet, we're so excited now. We're not where we are without each other. We're not where we are without the leadership, without baseball operations, without the players, without the city, without the community, without the fans, without the front office, the back office, without the reporters and the press and the media. We need each other. And that's what Jose and I together have built a life on, understanding that it is together. And when we are all in, and you all heard the song as we walked in, we are all in. It's not lip service. Just as when you do the work that you do, and you do the work you do, and all of you all do the work that you do, we take it as a baseline that in everything everyone does, you're all in. And for Padres, we are. And we are absolutely committed to this organization, and we are absolutely overjoyed. And we understand, if you heard it, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win and win it all. We hope it's sooner rather than later. But again, I will keep it really pretty short. I do want to again thank not only the Padres team and organization that's here. I also want to thank some of our families and our friends and our family office and all the folks that work with us that have been part of this journey to even get us here, because it's a lot of number crunching and it's a lot of doing a lot of things to get us to this place. So again, just thank you all. Thanks to the Kwanza Jones and José Feliciano Initiative team. Thanks to the Supercharged team. And most importantly, thank you all thus far to Padres and San Diego and the Baja communities for welcoming us so much. We appreciate you so much.
Awesome.
Okay, we'll now open it up to the floor for questions. We have microphones on both sides of the room currently, Darren and Vanessa. Please raise your hand, wait for the microphone, and then we will call on you. We'll start today with Kevin Acey from the San Diego Union Tribune.
Kwanza, Jose, you've spoken very highly of Peter, that legacy. When we look back, and however long it is, what will be the legacy that you hope that we're all talking about from your ownership?
Oh, go ahead. I'll say it. Kevin, thanks for starting us off right there.
Thank you, Kevin, for the easy question. So I think there are two aspects of it. I think hopefully we look back and we'll see that, kind of we even deepen the tie with the community. We have become engaged and part of that community, right? Kind of, and again, Kwanza said it, we are part of that and that's much broader, honestly, than sports or baseball. But listen, I'm a lifelong baseball fan. I won't tell you which team I used to root for, but right now I root for the Padres, and we need to win the World Series. It's that simple. That's what we're going to do.
And I'd add that so many people think of a legacy as what you leave. I think of a legacy as what you live. So what that means is we need to constantly live, all of us. It's not just Kwanza and Jose and the folks that are coming with us. It's all of us. So the legacy, in addition to winning a World Series, and in fact, multiples, we got to get to one first. But the legacy that I anticipate we will be leaving and living is one where everything is elevated in San Diego, in the Baja communities, with the Padres organization, with the leadership, with the players, with the community, because again, it takes all of us. It takes all of us you can't have community without unity. It's in the word. So that is part of the legacy that we are going to live.
Yeah. As we start that journey, I think, you mentioned in your article, I think we want to continue that legacy that honestly Peter left, to dream big, to do the impossible, right? And as we discussed, right? Like the impossible becomes possible when somebody does it. So let's do it.
Annie Halber.
This is a big undertaking. When you were first presented with the opportunity, can you give us a glimpse behind the scenes for some of those conversations? Were you both on board right away? Did it take some convincing? And how did you ultimately decide to go for it?
Wow. Well, anyone who's ever been in a relationship with anyone knows that conversations are important. And for us, we have had such shared dreams, goals, and visions for as long as I can remember, even back when we were at Princeton. And we always dreamed about what is the impact that we wanted to make. And being an athlete and having competed in Division I Sports. Sports has always been part of, I will say, my DNA and what it does for a community, what it does for the world. So it did not take much for us to have to both come to the decision that, oh my gosh, wait a minute. The Padres are available. This can't even be real. We were shocked that this was an opportunity. And we also, and certainly I'm a firm believer in synergy. It was the right moment at the right time for the right people. So it didn't take much for us to decide to jump right in.
Yeah, I would echo that. I think some decisions feel easier, more natural than others. And this is one where we felt it was the right fit, the right place, the right time.
And I will add one last thing. We were saving up for a long time. We had a lot of dry powder, and we're like, you know what? This is the place.
A few pennies here and there, right?
Exactly.
Can you just tell us about the song that you walked into? What was the background behind that? And did you write that?
Oh, yes. Yes, I did with some of our team that's also here. So how many of you all saw that game not too long ago? And that catch? Okay. So you heard in the song that part that goes, shh, let's go. That was part of that inspiration, that catch. Shh. And then he's like, ha, guess what? Gotcha. So I've worked with some of our team. They're like family. It's been 10, 15 years. And the inspiration was the minute, it was actually shortly after we first met you. And I was like, Jose, this is it. We're all in. We are all in for the Padres, all in for San Diego, all in for the Baja community. And again, when we do something, we are committed, we're all in. So it was just for us natural to say like, okay, not only do we believe it, we are so much more than lip service because some people are only that. We are about living it. So it was a natural extension. And what is sports? What is sports? Do people like to be entertained? Do people like to be amused? Do people like to feel something? That's part of what the Padres has done. It helps move people, and that's part of what music does. So when we look at sports and media and entertainment, and we know Petco is not just the baseball game. It's so much more. So we just wanted it to really show that we truly understand the breadth of all that is offered here.
My only musical talent is my name, so I did not sing. I did not sing as
But
part of
I
this.
did ask. I was like, Jose, come on, you're going to come to the studio and put some vocals down. And he said, I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, humbly asked to please add my middle initial so I'm not get confused with the singer.
Oh, right, exactly.
Jake from CBS 8.
José and Kwanza, Jake Gariani from CBS 8 here in San Diego. Nice to meet you both and welcome. In your guys' original statement, when you first were announced as the owners, you guys said that you wanted to invest aggressively but intelligently. I'm curious if you could elaborate on what your guys' financial plan is for the roster when you look at trying to compete with other teams in baseball.
So I'm going to correct something really quickly, and then I'm going to let Jose, or maybe I'll take it. Jake, you said aggressively but intelligently. I wish we had said that. That's beautiful. All right,
Paraphrasing, of course.
All right, there it is. We said ambitiously and judiciously, but we will take aggressively and intelligently because I do think it is synonymous with how we are thinking of continuing to grow and build and be competitive. But you want to take some of that?
Yeah, obviously, I don't want to sound like the baseball executive here. We'll work with AJ, we'll work with Eric. We have been blessed with a team in a city that is supporting us in a way that is allowing us to invest back in that team, in the stadium, and that city. And we're committed to doing that. Mm-hmm. And again, I think we are going to live, within our means. And that could mean different things in different years. But again, we want to win. And we're going to continue supporting that goal in many different ways. And that means that at some moments, to use your phrase, we're going to be aggressive. Some people might look at that way, but we're always going to do it, kind of with keeping the long-term health of the team in mind. And I think those are things that we're going to balance, but we're thinking about this in not only next week or next series, we're thinking about this, in seasons, decades. And I think our commitment to this city and to this team is that we're going to continue to do that. And again, hopefully win along the way.
And then a quick follow-up, if you don't mind. Oh, sorry.
No, I was going to say the key thing to understand is that, and Eric, you said it, we are competitive. You don't get to do what we do unless you are competitive. And it's important for all of you all to understand that. We want to win. What does that look like? It may take a lot of different pictures, scenarios of what it could be. And we will see, but please understand how competitive we are.
In your short time around this fan base, what have you two noticed about this fan base?
Well, I think, first of all, I would say that even in our short tenure, we have been very welcome. So the fan base and the city has been extremely welcoming. So I feel already a warmth, that I honestly kind of haven't felt perhaps since my days of, growing up in Puerto Rico. So I think it's that warmth that exudes this city. And number two is that even though, kind of you hear terms about being a small market, quote unquote, and, kind of the confines of the city. But when you think of San Diego, the Baja community, first of all, we're small and mighty.
Yeah.
But more importantly, that story, that idea resonates with us. The idea that maybe people underestimate us. People don't think that we're capable of doing what we have done, including winning the bid for the Padres. That motivates us. And I see that same grit, that same resilience, that same will to kind of overcome or to, kind of surprise people that underestimate us. You see that, as recently as Saturday, right? Kind of, that comeback win, right? How amazing is that? But this team doesn't give up, and this city doesn't give up, and we won't give up.
AJ Cazavel, MLB.com.
Hi guys, welcome to San Diego.
Thank you.
Just wondering, like, your kind of view on kind of the idea of owner of a team is obviously a complex thing. How do you view what that is to you, and what you will do with that role?
Well, I like to say I like to do hard things. And if everybody could do it, everybody would be doing it. This is not for the faint of heart. You know this, AJ, you know this, Greg, you know this. All of us know this. It's not for the faint of heart. So we go in eyes wide open, understanding that to really be great at something, you must invest. I'm not just talking an investment of money and capital. I'm talking an investment of time. I'm talking an investment of education, an investment of dedication. So when we look at how much we do know, and we spend a lot of time, thank you, Eric. I just have to, again, say thank you, because you made it very easy for us to get to understand within the confines of what we could during the process that was leading up to this. But I have to tell you, I'm so excited for this. I'll say this being day one because it's the official welcome, although it's technically day three because Friday is when the closing actually occurred, Friday afternoon.
Team is undefeated under ownership.
I'm just saying, we're gonna win. We're gonna win. Don't quote us, because when we don't win on one or two things, no. But again, I look at this as day one or day three, or just let's say the beginning of really being able to now fully dive into even more, and that excites me. Right before we sat and came into the room, we got this amazing owner's manual. And think about an owner's manual like for, I don't know, a vehicle or for an electronic device. An owner's manual for the Padres. Imagine what that entails. Imagine how exciting it is to dig into that, to really, really become part of that fabric and DNA. So is it going to be difficult? Yes, and I expect it to.
Just to kind of follow up on that, your assessment of the team and the organization that you're buying and what you anticipate your involvement being in this group.
Yeah, big. So first of all, I would just mention that, we have already experienced, kind of in the ownership of teams in some pretty significant leagues around the world. So we're not rookies from that perspective. We understand that. I think our first job is to learn a lot about the league, about the Padres, about the people in the organization. And I should say to learn and listen. Yeah. And then over time, I think we'll formulate, kind of obviously strong opinions about some things, and we'll defer to the experts on others. I think like any owner in any business, you must at some point, hopefully early on, establish a clear direction, clear goals. And then when we're deviating from that direction or goals, and at times life happens, you have to do that. We'll chime in. We'll provide additional direction and objectives. There'll be some decisions that will be intimately involved in the nitty gritty, and others that perhaps will delegate or be a little bit, kind of less intimately involved. But at the end of the day, kind of our job is to be good stewards of this team for this city and for the Baja communities, and to do that, with that long-term perspective that owners, multi-generational owners, need to have.
We all have to serve somebody, and we know we're serving the fans. We want to win.
Alden Gonzalez, ESPN.
Over here. Hi. Over here. Hi. This is for Kwanza and Jose. Hi. Nice to meet you. I'm just curious. So the Padres, obviously, on one side, they're in a great market. They have a lot of fan interest. Their attendance is through the roof right now. On the other side, they're a team that has a lot of big contracts on its payroll. They don't currently have a local media deal. I'm curious, as people who obviously were deep in the weeds on this and ultimately bought the team, how did you view the pros and cons of the Padres right now as an investment?
I'll start and then I'll let you take more of it. We wouldn't be sitting in this seat if we didn't think there was an incredible opportunity here. And not an incredible opportunity for, we're just going to make all this money. But an opportunity to really grow, expand, and there's a whole concept of a double bottom line. A double bottom line being a return on investment as a financial investment, another part of that being a social, and I'll say societal, and I'll say city, and I'll say community impact. Winning is part of that community impact. Broadening and deepening relationships and strengthening relationships with community is part of that impact that is really going to be very important for us to do. I want to do this.
I think obviously we probably don't have time to go over like the merits of the investment as an investment, but I think to me the most important part is that this is much more than just a financial investment. It's an investment in a team, in a community, again, in a city. And we're thinking about it in decades and decades and decades. But even the things that you mentioned that sometimes are used, to describe, kind of this market and this city and this team, to me, those are all opportunities, right? Look at how much we have accomplished, how much this team has accomplished, with those things, being quote unquote a small market and all those things. And I think to me, the theme is that we have been able to exceed expectations and we have been able to surprise people, even as recently as the most recent trade deadline, right? Kind of AJ and the team once again, kind of pull some rabbits out of the hat. So we expect the unexpected. We expect, that what sounds difficult and perhaps impossible, we will continue to do that. And yes, there'll be challenges along the way, and you mentioned some of them. But those are also opportunities that we have been, again, able to overcome in the past.
Tom Krasovic, San Diego Union Tribune.
Kwanza, your reference to
Okay, okay,
Sorry.
thank you.
To dry powder.
Yeah.
That's a lot of dry powder. So if we go back when you were at Princeton,
Yeah.
what skills have served you well in building the wealth and also guiding beliefs that served you well, that enabled you to buy controlling share of the Padres? Most of us cannot fathom that amount of money.
It's a great question. And from my lens, what you're asking about is some core fundamental values. And I firmly believe not in instant and immediate gratification. And I think that, unfortunately, is something that now, and I don't want to just speak negatively about social media, but that's now part of what the culture is: instant. And if you can't take a moment to say, how do I slow down, map out, have a plan, whether it's a 5-year plan, whether it's a 10-year plan, whether it's what I call dreaming in decades, how do I map out where I want to be and the impact that I want to make? So part of that foundational work for me was about slowing down and also understanding most things that are worth having are not going to come instantly or easily. And that is the same even here. Look at where we are with the Padres. Look at where we are in terms of what has been able to be achieved even prior to us. We're 3 days in. But that's what I look at as far as where our opportunity is. And it stems from, again, being able to be patient but not complacent, understanding what your value is and what it is you're able to bring to the table, understanding that you absolutely have got to learn to communicate with people. You absolutely have got to learn to disagree and still move forward in your disagreements, and not being afraid to bring up points that you feel strongly about, and also not being afraid to stop and to listen so you can be better informed when you need to be. Because if you surround yourself, and this for me was one of the biggest things, and my parents at our family dinner table conversations, every Sunday we had family meetings. It was like a training ground for how to surround yourself with greatness and how to understand it, how to see it, how to develop it, and how to develop it in others.
And the other thing I would add is, embedded in your question, I think there's something I want to highlight. We don't take it for granted. Nothing was ever just gifted to us or given to us. We have worked really hard from very early on to get where we are. And you're right. In some respects, I cannot even fathom yet, kind of that we're the owners of this great team. But it was a long journey, and we don't take it for granted. And I think that will help us, in the journey. And the other thing is, even though, yes, there's a lot of success in our story, but there's also been failures. There's also been ups and downs. And again, I think it's how you recover from those downs, the grit, the resilience that allows you to wake up the next day and to do it again. And to try again and not lose that hope, right? Not lose the possibility of that dream. And we're bringing those two things, I think, to this team, to this city, that resilience and that feeling or that sense that, we don't take anything for granted.
Dennis Lynn, The Athletic.
Hi, Kwanza and Jose. Welcome to
thank you.
San Diego. I'm wondering, did either of you ever cross paths or meet Peter Seidler? And when he was spending all that money a few years ago and attracting a lot of questions and criticism around baseball, did you have any impressions from afar, and did that affect the way you view the Padres?
We're not fortunate enough to meet Peter. Obviously, we have gotten a chance to meet a lot of the family, and we're very familiar with the legacy. As I mentioned before, we have experience in the ownership side of sports, and we understand that passion that kind of enables us when we win or when we lose to say we won or we lost. it's the same passion that sometimes, the same energy that sometimes get directed at players, at managers, at owners. What I would say is that is certainly part of the journey. The only thing I would say, even when, perhaps there will be a day when fans disagree with a decision or perhaps things are not going exactly as planned, is that we're going to be right there with them, with you. We're going to be upset if we're not achieving our goals, and we're going to be some of the happiest people in the world if we can achieve those dreams. So we understand that journey, and we understand that process. And again, we don't take it for granted.
And Jose, I have a quick follow-up. You and Kwanza have both talked about how this is a personal investment as opposed to, investing in Chelsea through Clear Lake. How should fans think about that distinction, and what does that mean, if anything, for how you operate the Padres?
Yeah. I'm missing our first game of the Premier League right now. We talked about this. Listen, I think we bring, and in this case, I bring the same passion that I have for Chelsea, I bring to the Padres, but it is different because it is a personal investment. So this is a family investment that involves, of course, Kwanza, myself, a lot of the other members of our extended family. And as a result of that, our perspective is multi-generational, right? Our timeline and time horizon is multi-generational. In all cases, there are a lot of commonalities, which is we're owners, but really stewards of a team, of a club. And we always have to have that really long-term perspective. In this case, we are, we're accountable to each other, but in every case, and that's a little different at Chelsea, but in every case, we're accountable to the fans. And that, or in England, we will say supporters, but that doesn't change. So I think there's some things that, we bring to the table and perspectives and kind of that might be slightly different. But in both cases, I would say our commitment to the team, the club, the London is obviously, also a big city, is equal, and our passion is equal. Our time horizon here as owners is probably going to be much longer. And I'm looking forward to enjoying that.
And I've said before that it's patient capital, and there is no exit. Jose and I are answering to each other, but we're also answering to the generations to come. So when you have that longer term lens of things, and you don't have to answer to someone else about that, because I used to say, I grew up like saying, pennies make millions and billions. Not thinking that it's a fast, quick thing. That's what, for me, is one of the distinguishing factors between even having a personal family office investment versus a VC investment or a private equity investment, is we can be responsible in a different way and should be responsible in a different way. Jose shouldn't be looking at the Padres in the same way that he would look at Clear Lake. It would be ridiculous for him to do that. This is why, if the biggest thing people take away, and maybe your listeners, your readers, your viewers, is it's family. It's one of the reasons we said we're family first, because the lens through which we look at this investment is very, very different. The commitment is very different. The outcomes that we know we want, we always want outsized outcomes, but in here, we really are dedicated and committed to something beyond just a financial outcome.
Marty Caswell, Friar Territory.
Hi, Marty Caswell, Friar Territory on the Foul Territory Network. Chelsea's up 3-2 right now. I'm just wondering, how much more engaged and visible do you plan to be in San Diego because of that personal investment than you would be, say, in Chelsea?
Well, yeah, I think we don't need to contrast everything with Chelsea. Chelsea's an amazing football club, and London is an amazing city. But speaking about San Diego, I think we're deeply committed to do more. I think as I think we have commented in the past, we understand that sports is just much more than sports. Sports is just much more than the business. Sports is an integral part of the community. And in this case, the Padres are, I think, one of the pillars of this city and this community. And we're looking forward to engaging in many ways. Yes, kind of being here and maybe FaceTime is important, but also, I don't want to diminish or actually the opposite. I want to highlight, for example, the Padres Foundation. And I think this is very early in our journey, but I think there are many things that we can do through the foundation, collaborating with other institutions here in this city, to just make the city a better place. And I think that's the goal. That's the goal that we have in life for the world, for the universe, but specifically for this city and this community to, I think we're taking on this legacy at a great time. But I think there's always more that you can do, and you can always live the world a slightly better place than you found it, and that's our aim here.
And one thing I'll add to that, and I kind of half joked with Eric, but was not really joking, is that if you all understand, I'd like to think very critically about a lot of things, and most importantly, very intentionally about a lot of things. So with us wanting to make sure our presence is here, we want to find a place and a space to be here. And although we've spent quite a bit of time in San Diego enjoying it when we come to visit, it's going to be different enjoying it when we have a place and space here. So my joke, but not really joke, is I'm going to ask all of you all, please send out a beacon, tell people to let us know where and what do you love about your neighborhoods, about your cities, about your communities, because we're trying to figure out where we want to be. We know there's North County and Del Mar and Coronado and downtown. There's so many different places and spaces, but we need your help. So help a family member out and give us some tips on where you think would be great, because that really will also help us be even more present here, and we're so excited about that.
Kwanza, you've done a lot with your foundation. What are you planning to do here in San Diego in the community?
Oh, back to what Jose said. First thing is listen. And I've said this before. I want us to go on a listening tour. Even, Eric, if you remember, when we didn't even know if we were going to be victorious in this, but we had a hope and we had a dream. I had said, hey, if we get this, I want to go on a listening tour. And you were so great saying, okay, if that happens, we'll have some people you can meet and talk to. And for me, when you ask that question about from a philanthropic lens to what do we want to do, it's hard to imagine what we can do without knowing what has already been done. So I want to be able to see where and how and what has been done within the area, within the region. Where are there areas of needs? Already there's been so much that's been done. Again, Peter's legacy in doing a lot with the homelessness. That's one area and critically important with veterans. That's critically important. Education for us is foundational to so much. And San Diego has some amazing educational programs and schools and opportunities. So, there's a term, and when I think we've got a gift, and you all may see it at some point because Eric told us that we're going to get a jersey. So I'm very excited about this. And we even got to select our numbers. So I'm very, very excited about this. So the number that I selected was 00. I could have done one, like we're number one, but I did 00. And one of the reasons is because there are zero limits that we have, zero limits, and there are infinite possibilities. So when I'm answering the question that you're asking about the lens, again, from a foundation or from a philanthropic lens, there are infinite possibilities of what can be done. I want to make sure, and Jose wants to make sure we are really being intentional and we spend some time and really understand what has been done so we can then see where and how far we'll also go.
And the only thing I would add is that, as part of that, that's important because, San Diego is a great city and the Baja community is also very diverse, right?
Yeah.
And we want to, kind of listen and not every solution, right, applies to everybody. So there are many things I think we can create impact by partnering with people that understand those communities intimately. And we want to respect that diversity of background, opinion, ethnicity, et cetera. So we're looking forward to engaging, including our Latino community, Asian communities, other African-American communities.
And I'll add one final thing, and it's, you can't, from my lens, you don't go to someone's home and start dictating what they should be doing in their home. You want to be well, we're not guests anymore, but when I look at this, we're not going in and dictating what should be done in the community. We're trying to understand what has been successful. We're trying to listen and see where there are needs. And there are so many talented people, not just with the Padres, but even in the organizations and in the people and in companies, in the for-profits, as well as in the non-for-profits, in the San Diego and Baja communities. So again, I'm excited about partnering with so many folks.
We have time for a couple more questions. We'll go to John Carroll from KBBS.
Thank you very much. Once again, Kwanza and Jose, welcome to San Diego.
Where are you?
I know.
I'm right over here.
Okay, I'm excited. No, thank you. Okay, thanks.
So actually, my colleague over here pretty much asked the question I was going to ask about community involvement. So maybe broaden it out a little more. You all have both mentioned Baja several times in your comments. San Diego is obviously unique in that way, being a border city. What do you see as unique possibilities in relation to that, two countries that you can, through the Padres organization, bring to this area? And thank you so much.
Ooh, I'm saying ooh because I want to ask you that question because I'm convinced you have a great answer for it. Even you're asking it. We live in a world and a space and a place in San Diego and in the Baja communities too, where there is such a sense and source of pride. We see some of our friends from the Sequan tribe that are here. And you talk about a sense and source and place and a long-standing place that's been here that opens up the world and the lens. San Diego, which is why when it comes to people talking about, oh, it's such a small market and okay, yeah, sure, but not really. It's a gateway to the world. It's global, it's diverse. So when you hear us talking a lot about San Diego as well as Baja, it is to honor and to recognize that again, and I'm gonna go back to our friends, the Sequan tribe. Think about it. You all were here before a whole lot of us were here. Ancestors and ancestors and ancestors that understood what then was the global nature. We're just continuing all of that and saying, what are those possibilities? So when we look at, I think it's an opportunity to be able to say, we're the only ones out of all of these teams in the league that have this incredible place and space and opportunity. And what it means, even, I thought I had my hat and the jersey on. City Connect uniforms this year. What is that?
I love those uniforms.
Exactly. That's opening up to the world. That's a global gateway. That's understanding that we may be here and we may be San Diegans and part of Baja community, but we're part of something even more and bigger. So I'll let you go ahead and answer something because I get you can tell I'm really passionate about this.
Yeah, I think, as we talk about, kind of sports being a medium or a way to do good for the community and to have a positive impact, I think it starts here, right? Kind of just as these two communities have been so interlinked for such a long time, we can be a bridge, to that community. And I'll state the obvious, perhaps, right? Obviously, I'm going to be one of the few Latino owners in the league, one of the few owners whose first language is Spanish.
You got to give him a little something. Although I will say, I know we're doing this in English here, but I'm already like, yo soy la madre de los padres. How do you like that? That's right.
I'll do some of my Spanish a little bit later. I would also like to acknowledge, right, kind of one of our partners, second largest owner in the team is going to be the Harpaloo family, who's already has a long history with the team and has
and are here with us. Thank you all.
Yeah, thank you. And it has a storied kind of franchises, I should say, in Mexico. So I think obviously the sports of baseball has a incredible legacy in where I'm from, not only Puerto Rico, but the Caribbean, Venezuela, and other countries. So I think one of the things that's important about sports is that it has the power to unite and to find common ground in a different space and place, like Kwanza would say. So I think the team is already doing those type of things, like the City Connect uniform, which I do truly love. But there's more that we can do, and we're going to bring that perspective, a unique perspective that I think very few owners, if any, in the league have right now. They have their own perspectives, incredibly valuable perspectives, but we do bring a different perspective that I think is incredibly applicable here with Los Padres, right? The only team, by the way, in baseball or in any major league that I can think of whose name is in Spanish, by the way. Yeah. So incredibly excited about those prospects, and again, deepening and expanding and enhancing the work that is already being done by the team.
Back to Kevin Acey.
Eric, this one's for you, if that's all right. You've been with the club for quite a while, worked with a lot of owners. I wonder what stands out about your newest bosses?
Well, it's so exciting for you all to hear from them today, because this is the level of passion and competitive fire and enthusiasm that AJ, myself, others in the organization have been able to come into contact with over the course of the process that we went through leading to today. But yeah, this will be the fourth ownership group over 16 years that I've been a part of here. And I can't think of a better fit for where we need to go as an organization. I think we've accomplished a lot. Obviously, we've not yet accomplished our ultimate goal. And I think to take us there, there's no better match than Jose and Kwanza. And we're all just incredibly excited to keep doing what we get the privilege of doing here. Working in professional sports and baseball in San Diego, it doesn't get much better than that.
With that, we will conclude our press conference today. Congratulations again to Jose and Kwanza both. We look forward to seeing you all again very soon.
Can I ask you all to smile and say cheese, please? We're super excited. Oh, thank you all.
We'd like to.
Well, that was the introduction of Jose E. Feliciano and Kwanza Jones. Press conference here on 97.3 The Fan. He's Frank Marchese. I'm Braden Surprenant. We're the Braden Surprenant Show. Sam Levitt will be live at Petco Park, and we're going to get it back down to him in just a little bit as we kind of wrap up our show for the day. Gwen and Chris are going to be up next. But just overall, my initial reaction is it's awesome. Kwanza Jones was so excited to be part of this organization. Jose E. Feliciano is so excited to be part of this organization, be part of the city. And I thought the entire vibe was very positive. And this is what you want as somebody that owns your franchise, somebody that wants to be competitive. They kept mentioning they want to win, but also the competitiveness. I mean, Kwanza Jones ran track and field at Princeton at a D1 level while also getting a very difficult education to achieve. I mean, she obviously has accomplished a lot. Jose E. Feliciano has accomplished a lot. And I think this is exciting. I think these are exciting times to be a Padres fan, because you want to hear that competitiveness. That was probably the most energetic introductory press conference I've ever seen. I mean, they were so stoked to be here. And, I thought that was great. And we'll see, what type of part of the community they want to be here in San Diego. But I thought that was an awesome start to their tenure now as the owners of the Padres. I mean, I once they mentioned that they have been officially owners since Friday, I immediately was like, you know what? They are undefeated. And Jose jumped on it immediately. Jose E. Feliciano was like, hey, undefeated as owners. But I think they did a really good job of setting the precedent that they're here to they want to win. This is an organization that matters to them. This is a city that matters to them. And I loved everything about it. And I think a lot of people enjoyed, some of the energy that they brought today. And I think that was great. I mean, it's an introductory press conference, and they're going to say a lot of the right things. And I mean, they're people are going to have their opinions on, the ownership group once they start making decisions. But there is no doubt in my mind that they, that they didn't just absolutely want to be the owners of the Padres. I mean, you heard Kwanza Jones say, she was like shocked that they were even available to purchase. And they are like kids in a candy store, overjoyed about owning your favorite ball club. And I think that's great. I love the vibes today. I thought they were awesome. And we knew that a lot of the positivity was going to be there today, but it's going to come down to, some decisions they make. And I agree with Jose Feliciano. I mean, they got to learn first and see what it's like. But they're longtime baseball fans. They wanted to be part of this organization in particular. They wanted to have something in their own that they can have together. And I thought it was great. I thought it was a great sign for this ownership group. And I really appreciated what they had to say. And I thought that was fun. That was like one of the more fun press conferences that we have had. I mean, I thought Kwanza Jones just let her be herself. So many times we do these press conferences for managers and new players, and everything's about trying to stick to a script. I thought you actually got to get to know these people as people, and that was great. I think it really was.
Yeah, no, it was fantastic. And a lot of fun to hear all the energy coming out of Kwanza, and Jose seems very much like the calculated, more realistic mindset, business mindset. And Kwanza, she sounds like the energy that's going to be behind a lot of this. So very, very nice to hear the two different sides. They both have two different ways of looking at it, which are going to be even more fun. And now they get to sit back and watch the final 15 seconds as Chelsea win the opening match against Fulham 3-2.
Yeah, I'm glad that they dropped that on there too. I mean, how she was stoked about, just getting a jersey, getting a jersey and a hat. They love the City Connect jerseys. But I thought they did a really good job in their introductory press conference. You're going to get some of it out of like what they were, what their goals are and their aspirations, obviously. But the majority of today is about getting to know them for the first time, because this is the first time that we actually get to know. And it wasn't that cookie cutter presser that you usually get. It was something different. I liked the dynamic of these two and everything. So we're done, and we're gonna head to break, and Gwen and Chris gonna take over. They're gonna go down to Sam. Is that the plan? So stay tuned for that. Gwen and Chris coming up next. They're gonna give the full recap. For Frank Marchese, I'm Braden Surprenant. We'll talk more about this tomorrow as we finish up the day. More from Sam Levitt down at Petco Park on Gwen and Chris on the other end.